space.
You do need space. You need your space. I'm sorry I imposed.
Yeah. All right, we going?
We're going.
When did we
now.
start?
Well, just a couple seconds ago.
Oh.
After I asked if I belittled your manhood too much.
Yeah.
But now they know that question. Welcome to Talking Heads, everyone. Episode 95, your once weekly live show for the latest in beer and tech news. I'm Jeff.
I'm John.
Welcome to the show. If you are new to the show, thank you so much for joining us. If you're returning, well, welcome back. Glad to have you. Let me know, Mazel Tov. Let me know what you're drinking tonight down in the chat. We will try to give you a shout out as we see them.
Yeah.
If you are new to the show, here's how it works. We do about 20 minutes of beer news. We do about an hour to an hour and 20 minutes of tech news. And then 20 or so minutes of just goofing around, Q&A, whatever kind of comes to mind. Whatever you guys want to talk about.
Yep.
We do drink adult beverages on the show. However, we do strive to make this as family-friendly as possible, both for consumption and content and language sake. I guess that's three things, so both wouldn't apply. Inclusive and would go there. But anyway, welcome to the show.
Yep.
And thanks for joining.
Yeah, someone's drinking Keystone Light.
Ban him!
I was thinking Martini, Gatorade, Guinness. Oh, these are all good. Keystone Light. I will reserve judgment, but
Diet grapefruit soda, because I live life on the edge. John, what are we drinking tonight?
We got a couple of options today, all local Oregon beers. Yeah. We have pFriem Brewing, their Jammy, I think it's just called Jammy Pale Ale, yeah. So this is supposedly a super fruity pale ale. I heard strawberries, blueberries, kiwis, just supposedly there's a lot of fruit flavor in this lower ABV. It's only coming in around 5%.
That ain't bad.
So I wanted to see if how much flavor this actually had. Then we have Gigantics Brewing is what is this called? It was the Titan Ups. So, and this is just a nice citrus IPA.
Nice. I got the ale trend continues. We've got Level Beer out of Portland, Oregon, Pale to the People. It's a 6.1%, making pale ale cool again. I did have this one a couple of weeks ago. It's solid.
Solid?
Really solid.
Yeah, I'm expecting all of these to just be like solid.
Good.
Just good.
Yeah.
You know, like, hey, I drank this. I'd like this at a barbecue. I'd like this at a meal. I'd like this as a 4-pack in my fridge.
Yes. Nothing overly unique or stand out, but solid.
That's what I'm hoping for,
Yep,
anyways.
Exactly.
So.
Any particular thing stand out to you?
You know, we can go with the berry. I'm kind of curious.
I'm
This
interested
jammy,
in that one. Yeah, I am curious.
Quality. So
we'll
see.
A couple of smaller. Yeah, I've got some fancy Bailey's glasses here for some little testers.
There we go. Yeah, it's not super big. That's interesting about these bottles is they're not pints and they're not 12 ounces.
Yeah, they're like 14 and a half ounce
yeah,
or something like that.
Yeah. They're like 720 milliliter. Oh no, it's 1 pint, 9 ounces.
Oh, that one's okay. So that is a full bomber.
Yeah, that's just a
Yeah, the pFriems usually come in a little bit smaller bottles.
Yeah.
I don't see it on here right off. 1.9 ounces. You were wrong. Yeah, usually the pFriems come in 14-ounce bottles.
Oh.
But, so this actually might be not quite big enough glassware.
The Gigantic is in a slightly smaller bottle. Yes.
Seems to be some fruit in the bottle.
I just bought this yesterday, so
I maybe it's the bubbles, but I am seeing a little blip, 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 blip.
some floaties.
Kind of bouncing out of it.
So this is like my strawberry beer.
It is. I wasn't going to mention it. As soon as I said it, I thought about it.
You're like, I got a story.
I got a story. You've all heard it before. Actually, these worked perfectly for that.
Oh yeah. Okay. It's got a nice aroma.
Yeah. Yeah. Little tart, little.
Yeah, I get like a citrus peel, hoppy. I do smell hops.
A lot of hops.
A lot of hops.
A lot of hops. Not nearly as much fruit as you were describing. It's there. It's fruity, but
So it says, with aroma of Marionberry, strawberry preserve, blueberries, and lemon balm. Just finished. It finishes juicy, jammy, and fruity.
I get lemon.
Yeah, I get a lot of lemon.
I get a lot of lemon. Marionberry?
Marionberry, strawberry, and blueberries.
I don't get any of that.
No.
Nothing.
No, this just tastes like
It's a lemony IPA.
It's a lemony pale, essentially, yeah.
Interesting. And we're serving it at the right temp even.
Yeah.
The 40 to 45, that's right about where it's at. It's probably about 43, 45.
I mean, yeah, this even tastes a little bit hoppier than I would expect a pale ale to be.
Right.
This does taste like an IPA.
Right.
It's not bad. It's definitely not bad at all.
Definitely not bad. So we're going to start the show with something just slightly different today. I didn't warn John about this, but I got a package in the mail yesterday.
Ooh.
I got a little black box.
Is it for me? It's labeled for Hops and Brews.
It is.
No. That's awesome.
Yeah. So those who have been watching the channel for some time probably know what is in this little black box. Those who have been watching YouTube for any length of time probably knows what comes in these little black boxes.
Why does it say wish.com on the back?
Because I wanted it to get here and YouTube was taking their sweet time with it, okay? I bought a knockoff. So this is my 100,000 subscriber plaque.
What?
Yeah. So you've done something very few YouTubers accomplish. You've had an astonishing 100,000 people subscribe to your channel.
What?
So there is...
Like,
Dun, 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 dun. There it is. I'm official now.
ooh, you officially made it.
I have officially made it. So next week this will be hanging up on the wall.
Nice.
So I am very happy. You guys freaking rock. I said this in one video already. I never once expected any of you guys to enjoy any of the content that I would ever produce. I was a fledgling videographer. I took photos before I started YouTube, and I worked professionally in IT. Never expected this to take off at all. I figured if it could just start paying for my hobby and maybe get me a couple of free cases and maybe the occasional graphics card, I'd be thrilled. Never expected anything to take off, let alone 2.4 million views on my biggest video and quite a few others above the 200,000 and 300,000 mark.
Plus all the free beer he's been getting.
Plus all the free beer that I've been getting and swindled them into bringing every week. So, but seriously, thank all of you guys. You guys rock, and let's keep this going. Let's get myself a gold plaque.
Yeah.
That's what I want.
And let's get me a silver plaque.
That's right. Let's get Jonathan. Seriously, if you like my channel, go subscribe to Hops and Brews. It's down in the video description. Honestly, I don't want them to subscribe today because you were at 420 subscribers today.
No,
I think that's perfect.
It already hit 421.
Oh, 421. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, seriously, let's have him break 600 by the end of the night. You guys can do that. Go. There's a link down in the description. Go subscribe to Hops and Brews. Freaking do it. He does do pretty amazing work over there.
Thank you. We're actually shooting a video, another special with Jeff tonight.
That's right. Yeah. After the show tonight, we will be doing another $42 donation.
Holy cow!
BRP 1264, $42. Keep it up. Here's to another 100,000. Thank you so much, man. That is awesome. So yeah, go subscribe to Hops and Brews. Do it now, and then come back to the live show.
Yeah, and if you haven't joined Jeff's Patreon, check out Jeff's Patreon. Minimum at least $1 a month. There's some awesome content in there. We talk a bunch of just about anything, whatever you want. We have great channels about just meme wars, beer talk, tech talk, trading, cars, everything you want.
Yep.
So,
but seriously, go subscribe to Hops and Brews and come back.
Yeah.
Do it. Go do it now.
I want to see viewerships go down and skyrocket back up.
Yep.
But anyways, let's get going with the news.
On to the news.
Because I'm sure people are going to be saying, it's been 10 minutes, I haven't gotten to the beer news. So we are both fathers, and we probably...
I know that was annoying. Go ahead. I'm going to go until someone says something.
So Jeff and I both have kids.
Yes.
We both have kids. We probably, most of the time, parents usually give their kids what? Juice. Mm-hmm. And usually this juice kind of probably gives them like a sugar spike, sugar rush. Yep. you don't usually expect your kids to start just...
Hey, Mom!
Mom!
This is good stuff!
This is good stuff! Well, apparently, something could have happened like that in, I believe it was Iceland.
Yes.
So, there have been a few packages of Capri Sun found with alcohol inside of them.
Yep. They are not sure how this happened yet. We, as homebrewer, you know, there's a couple of ways this could happen, that you could do a warm fermentation.
Yeah.
Either some yeast got into the packaging and started eating the sugars inside of there. Could have been some kind of infection, grain, whatever got into the packaging. It could have been it just went sour and started fermenting and basically turning into Pruno.
Yeah.
Because that's totally a thing too.
Yeah.
But one way or another, these Capri Suns on the shelf in Reykjavik, Iceland.
I didn't even want to attempt to try to pronounce it.
I believe it's Reykjavik.
Okay.
Anyway, in Reykjavik, Iceland, found some ABV inside. That was just the funniest thing ever.
I know. I would have loved to have the parent be like, well, this is really good.
I don't remember it tasting like this.
I know. This is the adult version. Who needs this? White Claw. I got Capri Sun.
You know, this would actually be a brilliant marketing move. You sell them in Baker's dozen packs now. and so you have 12 for the kids and 1 for mommy.
There you go. So yeah, that was funny. So they did pull them all off the shelf.
Yes. But Capri Sun is investigating the cause. They haven't released any information on what might have caused it or how they think it happened yet. But as soon as we find out, we may update this next week on the channel.
I even did try to find a follow-up to this because this was posted like 2 days ago.
Yeah.
And I couldn't find anything. Everywhere else was, how to make an adult Capri Sun. Mm-hmm. And I was like, no, I want that one.
No, I know how to do that.
I know how to do that.
I want to know how it happened naturally.
Yeah. And what are the signs to look for that in the supermarket?
Right.
That's the box.
Exactly.
And it's only $2. Yes.
Moving right along. Some semi-local news, actually. Local and national news. But Anheuser-Busch, they've been in the news quite often, all the time. O's Craft Brew Alliance, which is the people here in Portland who own Widmer, Kona, some of the bigger, I think Red Hook, bigger breweries here in Portland. They Anheuser-Busch already owns 32.3%, just under 1/3 stock ownership, but their contract stated that they had till August the 23rd to buy them out at just over $20 a share, which would be somewhere around like $328 million. Hey, wow. Viewership's going up, or subscriptions going up. If they didn't buy them out, they would have to pay them a $20 million fee. Yes.
And Anheuser-Busch said, screw it. Here's $20 million. Mm-hmm. We're not buying you out yet.
Right.
So it was an interesting thing to happen because Anheuser-Busch kind of wanted to do this and buy them out because, and it seemed to be a very smart move for them because Kona and some of these other breweries are starting to grow. Kona by themselves produced, I think, 500,000 barrels last year alone, which is tremendous for a smaller brewery like that. So there's just a bit of interesting news, although they said that they think one of the reasons was Anheuser-Busch didn't do that is they'd have to go through, not the IRS, the government, because it would be something like a monopoly.
Right.
Yeah.
And a big reason for that is because the Craft Beer Alliance has some of the largest players in craft beer at play. You've got Widmer, which is obviously an internationally known brand. Yeah. And they're also headquartered right up here in Portland. But they represent something like 12% of the craft beer industry. Yeah. So and the Craft Beer Alliance as a whole represents 20 or 25%. Yeah. I mean, they are a massive player in the beer market. And as much as InBev wants to get into the craft beer market as they've been buying up these craft breweries, this is just too large of a chunk for them to take and would likely raise some red flags with the SEC.
FCC, that's what I was was like, why am I thinking
Yeah.
IRS?
I literally it clicked right before I said it.
Okay, good.
Securities Exchange Commission.
There it is. Yeah.
So, yeah, it's not the IRS, and I'm like, well, who is it? Who is it? Well, if I just keep the sentence going, maybe SEC. Now I look brilliant.
Yeah.
Someone said Capri Sun homebrew tutorial incoming.
You know, didn't someone already do that? I had an idea.
I think you should make a Capri Sun homebrew and call it the Reykjavik Ale.
I actually do have a video of a Capri. It is Capri Sun, and a brewery made a beer that's called Capri Fun.
Yeah.
And it does actually taste very sweet. So I am going to compare it to I have something very interesting to how to compare that Capri Sun to this beer. I have a very interesting tool, and it'll be a fun video. Probably coming out in about a week or two.
Nice. Yeah, so. You've been doing some of those comparison videos lately, like the Fruit Stripes gum and things like that. And in fact, we're doing a comparison video on the show tonight. After the camera turns off.
So it'll probably be up. That'll be up next week.
Yes. Yep. So stay tuned if that kind of like flavor profile thing interests you.
Yeah. So I actually have a few of those planned. I have a German chocolate cake one planned.
Sorry, Skull got it. Reykjavik Radler. Yes.
You know, I thought about doing that, but then I was like, wow, the time it would take to do that, and I think like 5 gallons, or maybe I'd do a 1 gallon one, and so I might as a follow-up video.
I think a 1 gallon brew would be hilarious.
I think a 1 gallon brew would be kind of interesting to do. So
maybe go get their orange, or they have a lemonade, or maybe a fruit punch or a cherry.
Yeah, something like that, and see what it tastes like. I might. So.
I'd love to see it. I would personally love to see it.
Yeah. People would love to see me drink horrible things.
Yeah. So those interested in traveling to Galaxy's Edge, which is the latest attraction at Disneyland, both Disney World and Disneyland, you might want to think twice about the souvenirs you bring home.
Yes.
Because apparently one of the more popular souvenirs from the attraction has been banned from all U.S. flights, thanks to theater security, or security theater we know as the TSA.
Yes.
And I just got on a list somewhere. So we all know the TSA bans items pretty much at whim, because they deem them a threat, or they deem them a faux threat, or they say, well, people might be uncomfortable, and take the...
It might have a chemical in it.
Right. This is not even that case. On the screen, would any of you, at any glance, any passing, fleeting moment, mistake one of these for a cold fusion bomb or an incendiary device of some kind? That answer is no.
It looks like a Christmas ornament, honestly. It looks like a Christmas ball.
It's plastic. It's got a lid with little nubs on it that remind me a lot of the NOS energy drinks, the NOS bottle energy drinks, which is pretty fitting because Coca-Cola owns NOS.
Yeah.
But the TSA has banned the thermal detonator replicas from Coca-Cola. They're one of the more popular... souvenir items.
Well, yeah, because they're actually one of the cheaper ones too. It's like they come even $5 for a can of soda
for an 8-ounce thing of soda.
So, 8-ounce thing of soda, and they're saying sorry. You can't even take it on
you can't even check it.
Check it, check it. You can't even check it. They're saying because even if their scanners remotely see that something could look like it, they're gonna act like it isn't.
Right.
It is a threat of some kind, and they'll treat it as such. So they are suggesting
it's plastic,
and they're saying even if you take the top off,
right,
they will still consider it the.
But you know what's funny? You can buy water bottles in that shape.
Oh yeah.
Dasani actually has little ball bottles from Coca-Cola that you can buy without little tops on them. Those are perfectly fine.
Whatever.
But. Yeah, security theater continues. Thank you so much. I hate flying. I hate flying for that very reason.
I mean, I enjoy flying, but yeah,
that and most of the airline companies suck. Prove me wrong. But no, TSA. I can't stand the arbitrary. This is allowed and this is not.
Yeah, that's stupid.
You can bring 3 ounces of liquid. I'm not gonna get into it. But XKCD has a great comic on it. Go check out XKCD and his laptop. I can't bring the bottle of water in, but my laptop is fine. Really, that's weird. I won't give you the punchline, but it's good.
What happened there? There it goes.
There you go. Okay.
I just clicked it. Anyways, so some good/bad news. We talked about this list a while ago. The top 10 list of best beers that Homebrewers Association classified, and I believe the Founders Canadian Breakfast Stout was like number 3.
No, it was I think 5th because KBS was first or was higher on the list.
Was higher on the list.
In fact, 4 of the Founders beers made it onto the top 10 list, with the All Day IPA rated number 2.
Okay, yeah.
And then I think KBS was number 5 and CBS was number 6.
Okay. If go look back, we did a few stories on this. But CBS is rated like one of the best stouts ever. We've had it a few times. It's phenomenal. I mean, if you love KBS, the CBS, the Canadian Breakfast Stout, is fantastic.
It's maple sausage and coffee,
and bourbon and pancake,
all wrapped in a bourbon pancake chocolate.
Yeah, it's like
wrap.
11.3%. Yeah. It's fantastic. So good news is last year and this year they will continue to this year's release will have the 12-ounce bottles, which will make it a lot easier to buy and drink. Unfortunately, for sad news, this is the last year of the Canadian Breakfast Stout.
Yes.
The head brewer has decided has zero plans to rebrew this or re-release this anytime in the near future.
Yep. Unfortunately, because it's one of the best beers of all time.
Yes, it's a fantastic beer. He's stating that their barrel-aged series has gotten so advanced and they have so many in the pipeworks that they want to explore that route instead of keeping the money in CBS.
Yeah, they just literally don't have the capacity anymore to still produce more beers or different beers and continue doing CBS.
Yeah.
And KBS sells better.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But this isn't the first time though. They initially released this and stopped releasing this in 2011, and then re-released it in 2017. So this isn't the first time it's stopped.
Yeah.
But still, that's a large gap.
Yeah.
So it is November 19th, I think, is the last batch for this year, and after that, it will be gone.
It's gone.
So people that are looking to trade or stock up or age something, grab a bunch of those 12 ounces because those will be aged fantastic. They will probably trade great. And this year's label, too, will also have just the horse, not the Canadian Mountie, because the Canadian Mounties basically sued them.
Yeah.
There's a story about that, too.
Yep. Someone said, you do have the best priority pass lounges in PDX, $28 whiskey tasting for free. And yes, we do. We have some of the best amenities in the PDX airport.
Oh, yeah. I know.
We've got the Rogue Brew Pub right there.
Yeah, there's...
by Terminal B.
Yeah, I think there's 2 brew pubs. Isn't there? Yeah.
Yeah, there's Rogue and there's someone else.
There might even be 10 Barrel.
Yeah, I think so. But yeah, no, we've got some options if you like whiskey and beer.
There's like in the 2 distilleries in there too.
Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah, I think Cannon Beach Distillery sells some stuff at PDX.
Uh-oh.
Which Cannon Beach is a phenomenal local distiller. What is going on here?
I don't know. I just clicked the tab.
Hit back. It's been doing this today.
It's not even.
Yeah, I had to.
It's not even switching between tabs.
Interesting.
Virus.
Okay. Well, we might have to call a mulligan on the...
well, the story after that works.
Interesting. Okay. Well, I can bring it up here, I think.
Let me... You know why?
Why?
It's Tom's Hardware. This doesn't like Tom's Hardware.
That's true. Actually, no. Earlier today, Tech Radar did the same thing to me.
All right, hang on. Let me... There we go.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, got it.
I got it.
All right, so that does it for our beer news for the week. And hey, we're only 6 minutes over.
Hey, that's not too bad, especially when we did the 10-minute intro.
That's right. So, first comment on the video can be, Tech News starts at 26:07.
Yeah.
Bunch of... This is my show!
Actually, I really like this. I don't think it has the jammy qualities.
No.
But there are other flavors other than just citrus in there. I can't really pinpoint them out, but I can just tell that there's something different.
Right. It's a much thicker mouthfeel than I'd expect for a 5% beer.
And I am actually enjoying that.
I am enjoying it. It feels like a heavy beer. It feels like a nice, good 8.5% IPA. And the hops tell me that much, too.
Yeah.
But at 5%, this is a beer you could drink the whole bomber and...
Be happy.
And be like,
right. I'm totally fine. I enjoyed a beverage.
Right. I'm still getting a lot of lemon peel right on the nose, a lot of hops right on the nose, and not a lot of varied hops.
No.
It smells like probably Centennial.
Centennial, mixed with possibly Citra.
Yeah, it's one of the two.
Yeah.
But honestly, it's a very pleasant pale ale at 5.1, 5.2, something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, but I like it.
Yeah.
Now, how much was this? Because pFriem usually tends to trend...
$3.50, I think.
Oh, that's not bad at all for them.
No.
Usually, pFriem tends to be a little bit more expensive than I would want to spend on their single bottles.
Yeah, so 5.4. It was $3.40 something, $3.49, $3.48, whatever I paid. Plus, Oregon now has a 10-cent bottle return.
Yes.
So, $3.60. But $3.60 for a pint.
Yeah. That's totally worth it.
Totally worth it.
That's why I drink indoors now. Or at home anymore.
I know. For some reason, I used to remember going to tap rooms and stuff. It was cheaper to do that.
Yeah.
At least I always thought that. No, it's not.
No, not even close.
No.
Not even close.
So.
Anyway, moving on to our next story while we open our second beer of the night.
What would you just want to go back and we'll
let's just go straight up.
Glasses?
Yeah.
Since we know that size will work.
Yeah. Wow.
So that one is supposed to be just more of a citrus IPA.
Boy, I want to see what you think of this smell.
You're probably going to be.
Because it's got a nose on it.
Yes, the Mounties did protect their image. I guess they do have a right to it.
Yes.
But I mean, come on. It's an awesome beer.
Right. It's celebrating Canadian flavor.
Yeah.
Yeah. These bottles are freaking perfect.
Yeah.
Or these glasses are freaking perfect for these bombers. Yeah. I told you, it's got a nose on it.
It's got a dirty hop.
Yeah.
Ooh.
It's like a fresh hop that went bad.
Yeah, it's just...
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Doesn't have a bad taste to it.
I honestly was thinking this was going to taste like that.
Yeah.
Like, this tastes like someone trying to do multiple fruit flavors and not hitting the mark.
Actually, yeah.
And this tastes like just citrus.
Right. Seriously, flip these bottles and I'd have believed you.
I mean, look at it. The Tighten Up Citrus IPA.
Yeah. and like I said, lemony and whatnot, and kind of the real citrus forward smell and a lot of hops to it. This I'm not getting hardly any hops.
No, I get earthy dirt.
Yeah.
Like kind of not spoiled but rotten. Something weird. It just smells very dirty.
Yeah.
Kind of smells like socks.
Laundry soap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't there's some beers that have that soapy flavor. Mm-hmm. This doesn't have that, but it kind of smells like laundry. It smells like laundry.
Yeah. And again, a real thick mouthfeel to it. Almost like a strawberry ale kind of essence to it.
That's kind of where I was getting like, it's trying to have all these other fruit flavors
That
in
is
it.
Weird.
Like, if they said this was strawberry, marionberry, blueberry, and lemon,
I'd have gone,
okay. I'll get that, yeah.
Yeah.
I can get strawberry. But strawberry. Strawberry makes sense in this.
Yeah.
I don't get citrus. I don't.
And show them how dirty this glass is, or how. Oh, there we go.
There we go.
How not clear this pale is, and it's supposed to be just a citrus pale.
Yeah. No.
It is so bizarre. I finally got that camera dialed in, so if you put something up to it, it will focus on it. And I'm so happy with that. Yeah, it just goes. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, such an interesting flavor on this one.
Huh.
And I think they just missed.
I think they just missed.
Like I said, it's not a terrible flavor profile.
And same price point too, about $3.50.
Yeah, okay.
It's a 6-ber, 6.2.
Yeah.
So a little bit boozier. Yeah, 6.2.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Just like the Japanese game shows where you're smelling the unmentionables. Gotta say, I do like the label art. The art on this is fantastic.
Oh, Gigantic actually does some awesome labels. They even got...
the Teen Wolf playing guitar, heck yeah, with Batgirl on bass.
They even partnered up with, was it Dark Horse? Who makes Hellboy?
Dark Horse Comics.
Yeah, they made a Hellboy series, and Dark Horse redid their labels for them.
Yeah.
And it's all the Hellboy series, and they're actually very interesting. They have one that's just green slime looking.
Yeah.
They have some really cool ones. A blue one.
Yeah, their label game is always top notch.
So.
Anyway, finally on to tech news. So 32 minutes for those keeping track.
You can blame me.
Finally on to tech news. So GlobalFoundries filed a lawsuit against TSMC. Now, that doesn't sound like a big deal. Oh, two way background players kind of duking it out in court over who's, who
has proprietary rights.
Right, exactly. This could actually have some pretty long-reaching ramifications because of who utilizes TSMC and GlobalFoundries services. There are some big names on this list. So let's just kind of go through what the complaint is first. And TSMC has responded, and we'll get into that because they're spitting fire, if I dare say. Anyway, GlobalFoundries basically has filed this lawsuit that says that TSMC is infringing on 16 of their patents, and they are demanding that all shipments of these 16 patents be halted from being imported into the US and Germany, where GlobalFoundries operates. Now, again, doesn't sound like a huge deal. This sounds like a normal spat between a couple of companies. However, if you start to consider that TSMC manufactures products for AMD, nVidia, Intel, MediaTek,
a lot.
Google,
a
lot of fairly big players, then this starts to dig a little bit deeper, as a lot of this is going to be integrated circuits, but think of Apple sending out their security chip to be manufactured at TSMC and then receiving that back to put into an iPhone. That means an iPhone couldn't be imported into US or Germany.
Yep.
Same with nVidia uses TSMC for their GPU cores, for their RTX and GTX cards.
Can't sell them here.
They use them for their Tegra cards, or their Tegra chips for their mobile unit. Google uses them for their integrated products, for their Google Home, their Nest, that kind of thing. This is a pretty big deal. AMD uses them for their chips.
Yeah, no.
Now that's a more recent one, and I don't think AMD would be affected by these 16 patents. But we never know.
Yeah.
What the actual complaint is, because we haven't seen a court filing yet. We don't have the report on what was actually claimed in these patents and what companies are going to be affected by this.
Well, yeah, they were saying it's like over 480 companies are essentially using this. We were just naming out some of the big players.
Right.
But like 480 companies.
Yeah, 36,000 products used by 481 companies, or 261 companies and 418 unique products. Or something like that.
Something like that.
I'm spitballing those numbers, but here it is.
Yeah, there it is.
10,436 different products using 261 different patented technologies for 481 different customers.
Yeah.
That's a pretty wide customer base, and they're claiming 16 of these patents. That could, in your 10,461 individual products, that could be 6,000 of them.
Yeah,
depending on what
and then if one or two of those are one of their main products,
right,
or big products that they make a pretty decent chunk, that's a huge loss.
Mm-hmm. So again, This is all very, very early. This was literally filed Monday night.
Yeah.
This was filed in Delaware, Texas, and Germany. In national courts in both those countries. But GlobalFoundries' complaint leaned on the fact that this is essentially an Eastern company trying to profit off of the innovations of a Western company.
Sounds familiar.
And that's a really interesting spin on things, because typically we see lawsuits in the other direction.
Yeah.
Typically we see lawsuits where a U.S. company is going, well, China just knocked us off. Well, in this case, it's a U.S.-based company in GlobalFoundries saying, well, Taiwan is infringing on our patents.
Yeah.
And that's a rare play in this industry. And it's an interesting take on what this company's trying to accomplish with that. Now, TSMC did respond, and I want to read a part of this response. So TSMC said, quote, TSMC has established one of the largest semiconductor portfolios with more than 37,000 patents worldwide. Go and jump to the next.
Top one?
Yeah, no, next slide. There you go. And scroll down a little bit. Keep going, stop. The top paragraph. There you go. TSMC has established one of the largest semiconductor portfolios with more than 37,000 patents worldwide and a top 10 ranking for U.S. patent grants for 3 consecutive years since 2016. We're disappointed to see a foundry peer resort to meritless lawsuits instead of competing in the marketplace with technology. That is such an underhanded, knife-jabbing, backhanded...
You're not good enough, so you're just suing us.
They called them a patent troll.
Yeah.
Make no mistake, that's lawyer speak for you're just a patent troll. You can't innovate, so you're suing us to stop us. That's...
Yeah, that's...
That is shockingly direct language that they used in that official statement there. In filing these lawsuits, GlobalFoundries seeks orders that will prevent semiconductors produced with infringing technology by Taiwan-based TSMC, the dominant semiconductor manufacturer, so basically saying, we're bigger than you, from being imported into the US and Germany. These lawsuits require GF to name certain major customers of TSMC and downstream electronics companies who, in most cases, are the actual importers of the products for incorporating the infringing TSMC technology. And that was the other major point that that TSMC brought up, is this may just be a move from GlobalFoundries to get a company and product list from TSMC, so GlobalFoundries can then go out and quote them at lower prices and steal some of their customers.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, be like, hey, the next round you make these, we make the same product cheaper.
Right. Yeah, tell you what, we can do the same thing. We'll do it for 85 cents on the dollar.
Yeah.
And that is totally a strategy that companies have used before, is sue someone to get a customer list and then start cold calling those customers.
Yeah.
Hey, Samsung. Yeah, I heard you guys needed some...
you hear about that trouble that one company you're dealing with is having? They're getting sued.
Boy, the floods over in Taiwan and the lawsuits going on. Man, you don't want to deal with that. Tell you what, we have a 7-nanometer fab we just spun up. We'll use it exclusively for you.
Yep.
It's a legitimate strategy. And so I have no idea what's going to come out of this, but immediately in the first 2 filings, the gloves are off on both companies.
Yeah.
They are going for each other, and they're both going for blood. And and it is a fascinating watch here in the first couple of days of this. I know not everyone gets overly excited with just 2 major corporations filing lawsuits against each other. But I do like some of the lawyer speak that's included in this. And like I said, the backhanded complaints that are made in court.
I mean, we probably will not see anything come out of this, even if for a while, even if it went into the other guy's favor to where they certain products are banned, it would be like, okay, well, too late because it's banned, but stuff's already shipped out. We have to fulfill those orders. So we'll allow that to go through. In 2024, we'll cut ties and we'll give you here's a check. Shut up.
Right.
You know.
There was a case where Does everyone remember the Samsung Apple lawsuit as if there was one? Basically, when the original iPhone came out, Samsung didn't have a very good name as far as smartphones go. And they pretty much blatantly copied the original iPhone design in designing some of their first iterations of their Android-based phones. And it was a pretty blatant copy, if I do say so myself, because they were not on the map at all for smartphones.
They weren't.
They had the Samsung Blackjack, which was a non-touch screen, weird interface mobile device, and all of a sudden they have a full multi-touch screen with a single silver home button at the bottom and the volume rocker in the same position, and they're even copying some of the icon and user interface language that's inside of the iPhone for their own, putting their own skin on Android to make it look like iOS. It was a pretty extreme and blatant copy.
That skin part, yeah.
Samsung actually was forced to stay their imports, which means they had to stop importing phones for a couple of weeks because the judge went, yeah, that's pretty much carbon copy.
Yeah.
Samsung appealed it. The appeal went through. They could start importing their phones again. And 8 years later, Samsung had to write Apple a check, which they pretty much paid in pennies. Just as a giant middle finger to Apple.
Yeah. And that's the thing. I think if this ever did get settled, something like that, that's what would happen to all these other chips or patents, like we were talking about, the 1,000 products, whatever, plus.
Yeah.
I don't think we even noticed the stop of flow of any type of anything like that.
Yeah.
But it is just interesting to see.
Yeah.
Or hear about and read about.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's going to be an interesting development, especially if anything does come of it and we find maybe TSMC is infringing on GlobalFoundries patents. Maybe there's a reason they made a leap forward to their 7-nanometer fabs. Maybe there's something to this filing. Chances are this is a patent trolley move. This is this really is. Well, you use like a lazy Susan kind of thing to move your wafers off of the platform, and it's controlled by a microcontroller which operates with this chip, and we just can't have you using the same conveyor belt as we do in our factory.
You have a guy named Juan working for you. We have a guy named Juan working for us.
We have 3 Juans.
We have 3 Juans. Obviously, you've taken our idea.
And he is 57.
Yeah.
He's been here longer. Your Juan's what, 26?
Yeah.
Right. So this could be nothing. This could be everything. We'll have to wait and see how this develops. And I'm sure Juan over at GlobalFoundries is a great guy. I wish you well in your retirement. Okay. So a couple of quick notes from AMD, as we can't seem to go a week without some more AMD news.
Right.
This one's actually leaning in the negative favor of AMD.
Not too well. This is a bit older stuff though. Nothing new tech of AMD.
Right. So we've got we've got basically 2 rumors. The first of which is apparently an ASUS staff member who goes by the name Shimano1978 in forums and is also posted over on Reddit and is one of ASUS's in-house overclocking staff. Basically made a public comment that AMD is intentionally lowering boost speeds on Ryzen 3000 processors in favor of longer longevity of the chips. And this has been done through a GISA code released in BIOS, so basically updated BIOS specs and firmware for motherboards that will lower the boost performance on X570 motherboards and other motherboards that are compatible with AMD 3000. This isn't unheard of, but at the same time, if AMD is advertising a certain boost speed and it's written on the box, on the retail box, like I've got a Ryzen 3700X here, 4.4 gigahertz max boost with a 3.6 gigahertz base. And a discrete graphics card is required, so keep that in mind. So what we don't know is what's actually affected here. Is this the all-core turbo that's being brought down? Is this the single-core turbo that's being brought down? Because AMD does advertise the single-core boost speed on the boxes of their products. And if they're no longer achieving that with the coolers that come with them, that's a problem, in my opinion. You shouldn't need aftermarket cooling to reach the boost speed on your product.
Well, now is this after? But this is after the later BIOS. This is not the initial BIOS.
Yeah, the initial BIOS, it was performing normally, but apparently AMD has been tweaking the AGESA code to lower the boost speed in favor of longevity. So I don't know if they're shortening the duration that you can be under boost for. I don't know if they're lowering the voltage headroom.
Now, are they giving you a disclaimer before you download the BIOS of stating, hey, this is going to do this, and in one of the tiny paragraphs of the 800 paragraphs?
No, a lot of times it will just say updated AGESA code.
Yeah.
For Ryzen 3.
Well, I'm just saying, if they did do that, then technically there's nothing wrong.
Right. The Intel disabling hyperthreading on servers, that was just an update to the CPU firmware.
Yeah.
To patch a security hole. It wasn't, we're disabling your hyperthreading technology.
But yeah, it's the hyperthreaded system, so we got to turn it off.
Right.
Yeah. That's the fix.
Right. So yeah, we're updating your system so it runs half as fast in multi-threaded performance. So
don't update your BIOS.
It's causing a little bit of a stir because we don't know exactly what is going on here. AMD is stating that they're doing it for longer life. However, if they're lowering the boost clock and they're lowering performance, and it's going to affect the end user's ability to use the product at its max performance at what was originally launched and advertised, that's not a good look for AMD either. So again, this is a very, very recently developing story. This was posted yesterday at 8:30 a.m. So there's not a lot of news. There's no statements by either company yet. This is just one staffer claiming that
this is essentially a Reddit post, and someone's written an article about a Reddit post of a user that works for AMD
for Asus.
Asus.
Yeah. And again, this could be nothing, and it could be
something.
Right.
It is. Yes. Although if they are doing this to your chips, it is shady. Mm-hmm. I mean, it is similar to the Intel thing you were saying of taking out the hyperthreading. Mm-hmm. So it's just not advertised. Yeah, although I wonder if they're doing it on purpose so that you buy a later, newer product and it slowly
No, this is the brand new product. This is the brand new chips.
Oh, this is the Ryzen
and AGESA code updates early in a product's life cycle are not unheard of, and little tweaks here and there to performance. And so I don't want to make this a bigger issue than it might actually be. This could be nothing more than we lowered the voltage target, and it's going to affect 5% of chips negatively, but the rest of them are still going to be able to boost to their advertised boost speed, or run the all-core boost at the same frequency we predicted, or that kind of thing. Because these do have basically predictive boost, or especially your X-rated chips, which are the XFR, extended frequency range, will run a couple of cores at the max boost and then bring all the other cores up to a level just below it. Mm-hmm. And so it does per core turboing rather than an all-core turbo, and that's all you get. Which would perform at the frequency of the at your worst core.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. We don't have a lot of information on what has actually been changed or if there's any credence to this at all. But it is an Asus staffer who is starting this whole rumor. So
he was probably drunk. Probably ended up
probably a fan of the show.
I was gonna say he probably watched last week's Talking Heads late, kept drinking with everyone. Was like, I would have gone Reddit, blah blah blah. Tried to. Jeff and Rhett didn't do enough rant count, so I'm gonna go and do my own rant count.
I had him set up so well too. Tactics, Final Fantasy Tactics.
It's a horrible game.
It's a horrible game. Yeah. Sorry, Rhett, if you're watching. So, in other AMD news, again, a little bit negative. This one, not so much a rumor. AMD has agreed to a settlement over the advertising of 8-core Bulldozer chips. So if you remember all the way back to late 2011 or early 2012, when Bulldozer was supposed to be what Zen is today. It was supposed to signal a return to competitiveness for AMD, and put Intel squarely in their place. As we all know, it wasn't even competitive with Intel's mid-range chips, and kind of fell flat. The technology did eventually develop into, well, kind of. They took some similar concepts to Bulldozer, and especially with Zen 3, we kind of see the result of that, where they're sharing the I/O, but the cores are on separate separate fabs. AMD originally advertised Bulldozer as an 8-core chip. And processing units to that time meant you have your own independent... Each core has its own independent cache, its own independent I/O, its own independent floating point processor, and its own independent whatever else processor.
Share endpoint. Or no, you said that.
Yeah, prefetcher. Excuse me. So if you scroll down, there's a little diagram down below. Keep going right there.
There it is.
This is essentially what the core looked like for 2 of AMD's cores out inside a Bulldozer. Now, if you see all the way at the bottom, there's a shared L2 cache, there's a data prefetcher, and then there's 2 instruction schedulers inside of that. Those 2 instruction schedulers do actually process information. However, one can't run independently from the other. So it's essentially hyper-threading on steroids because you're sharing all of the same resources, you're just processing twice as fast.
Yeah.
Now, the technology really didn't scale all that well. And so your FX 4100 4-core chip, which was actually 2 L2 cache units with 2 instruction cores inside of each, really didn't even compete with mid-range Core 2 duos,
it was
not even Core 2 duos, but they're
Sandy hooks.
Sandy Bridge.
Sandy Bridge.
At the time. Yeah. So your entry level, i5 2500.
Yeah.
Or your i3, it just
the early on eyes.
It barely competed with the dual core Intels, let alone the quad core and the hyper-threaded quad cores of the day. And your FX 8150, it kind of held its own against the i5. It got obliterated by the i7. I mean, just straight up took its lunch money. Not only that, it ran twice as hot and required twice the power,
cooling,
twice the power, twice the cooling. So it was cheaper. It was cheaper than an i7. It was $200 instead of $330.
But you needed more extra parts for it.
Yeah. Yeah, there was all that trade-off of the heat and noise and the power consumption and everything else that came with that. So this has been a pretty hotly debated topic over the years of what qualifies as an instruction core, what qualifies as a processing core inside of a computer. Now, AMD has certainly muddied the waters now with their dedicated I/O chip that's on the fab, which has all of your L2 cache, and then each processing unit has L3 cache on it, and then they share the I/O among that central I/O chip in the Zen 2 architecture. However, each core is capable of running independently, whereas in the Bulldozer architecture, it was not. Yeah. And I think that's the crux of the argument that what developed into a class action lawsuit is bringing against AMD, is that, yes, you had 8 processing cores, but you could only run 4 of them at a time. Or you could only run 4 instruction sets, and then each core would chew through double the workload. So it wasn't really an 8-core system.
It was a 4-core steroid system.
Right, it was 4 cores on steroids.
Yeah.
And even then the performance wasn't great, but that's not part of the argument. Anyway, AMD has finally agreed on a settlement for the advertising of saying 8 cores when they honestly should have said 4-core.
Yeah.
And
12.5 million.
12.1.
12.5. $12.5 million lawsuit.
Okay. No, 12.1.
Oh,
they've settled for 12.1.
Oh, they settled for 12.1.
Yeah.
Which isn't that big of a difference.
Interesting. No, there's two different numbers.
Yeah, that's what I thought the top one.
Yeah, the top number says 12.5. The bottom number says 12.1 a little further down. That they've settled the lawsuit for a paltry $12.1 million. The settlement works out to roughly $35 per FX chip that was affected, and they listed 7 FX chips of the 4100, 6100, and 8100 lines. However, that $35 payout is based on, they think, only 1 in 5 AMD FX owners is going to come forward and claim monetary losses for this lawsuit.
Yeah, you have to still physically mail them, claim it, I think show a receipt of some kind.
Yeah.
And if you even have a receipt left.
And you had to have ordered from AMD's website or inside of the state of California.
Yeah.
Now, honestly, I have a couple of claims here because I have in this house an 8150 and a 4100, which are both on that lawsuit. I don't know if I can generate receipts for them. I think one of them I bought at Fry's here locally.
Yeah.
And the other might have been a Newegg purchase, so maybe I'll have some justification.
You might have some history there.
Yeah.
And I wonder, though, if it claims would be of where the warehouse was. What if the warehouse was located in California?
Right, and at the time, Newegg was a Sunnyvale company, and so...
Well, even Fry's. So what if their main hub for the Northwest was a California-based...
Was San Jose. Which it is.
Yeah. So what if it came... So does that count? Mm-hmm. You know, even Fry's, actually, you could probably still go to Fry's and say, oh, you paid with a credit card. Yeah, we still have receipts from 2000X.
Oh, I guarantee.
What's your name? But are you going to put the effort in for...
Are you kidding? It's the same terminal system it was in 2002.
It's the same terminal system when it was still one of those Universal Studios. Yeah. Or Universal whatever.
Incredible Universe.
Incredible Universe, thank you. But are you going to do it for the $70 that you're going to get?
I'll probably look up the receipts if I can. If I have to drive anywhere, hell no.
Yeah. You're like, well, Newegg, I'll look at that.
Yeah. I'll check my order history on Newegg dating back to 2006. Oh, look, there's my FX
There
processor.
it is. And then you'll get your check, a year from now.
Right. Exactly.
But yeah, they're estimated that just in lawyer fees alone, it's like $3.8 million.
Or no, the other chip was a 285X. Okay. Yeah, it was a pre-FX chip. Yes, because that was a 2009 purchase. I was trying to think back of all the AMD chips that I've purchased over the years. I know I bought a 4100 Athlon X2.
Wow.
And then I also bought a 285X later on, which was a dual-core processor for my wife's build. That was all the way back in 2009. I had the 4100X, had the 8150, or the 41... Yeah, FX 4100, FX 8150.
So someone's saying that it's actually only $35 per person.
Oh, not
per chip.
Interesting. Okay.
So, but that's what he said he read.
Yeah.
So
maybe that might totally be.
Yeah. So. Still, I mean, what did you pay? So you have false advertisers for an 8-core to 4-core, and they're saying was the price difference between their 4-core and 8-core $35?
No. The 4100 was $115, and the 8120, which is an 8-core, was $205. There's also the 8150, which is $245. There was also an 8150 Black Edition, which was an even higher end SKU, which I think had like an extra 100 megahertz boost clock on it.
So they're just averaging the number to
which
be
was like 265.
30,
right.
Yeah. So they're just averaging a number to be $35.
$35. And that's if 20% of people who bought FX chips file.
Yeah.
So it could be more, it could be less, but it's based on the $12.1 million settlement, not a per user, per occurrence or anything like that. So, yeah, if you bought an FX chip, look at your receipts and see if you're eligible for a little bit of reimbursement.
Yep. Actually, I got there was a gas station one here in Oregon.
Yeah,
I got a refund.
I got $170.
I got 90 something like that. Yeah. They actually they say you can actually claim again.
Yeah.
There's the automatic claim, and then if you claim again, you have one more chance to claim again for next year.
Yeah. No, my wife and I both received checks. I think they were $85 a piece. Or
yeah, I think I got like my wife and I got like $60 a piece or something like that.
Yeah. So. Yep.
That was a nice unexpected. Like I didn't even have to do anything.
It just showed up.
Yeah, it just showed up.
Yeah.
Actually, I did think it was spam. I was like, "This is not real."
Yeah. All right. On to space news.
Space. Not Star Trek.
I'm in space.
Space.
I'm in space. SpaceX did a test launch of their Starhopper on the second attempt. Well, after scrubbing numerous ones, and then they had a test launch scheduled for Monday, in which they terminated the launch process 0.8 of a second before T0.
Yeah.
I was watching that for like an hour leading up to it because it wasn't an official SpaceX broadcast. They just had a couple of cameras setting up, or some guy with a webcam had it set up. And they did have a couple of cameras that you could dial into. And I was actually watching it from
just
work.
Like back in the corner.
Yeah, exactly. Just had it up on the TV. And it's like, 26 seconds to launch. Let's stand up and let's do this. And so we've been waiting around for like an hour for this thing to go. And you see the steam starting to come out from the top, and the coolant's starting to flow and whatnot. You're
it's going to start.
We're going to start. And you're getting down and you're going, if they're going to scrub, it's going to be like 15 seconds or something like that. So 15, 14, 13. So your anticipation's ramping up. Then 5, 4, 3, and the pipe comes out of the ground, and all the water starts flowing over the ground. You're like, they're cooling the ground. It's gonna get, and then it goes 3, 2, 1, and then the engines go psst, and stop. And then the timer stops at 0.8, and it goes, we're not gonna do it today. So basically, what happened on Monday was allegedly a wire fault in the launch system. So they got that corrected, and on Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, they successfully launched Starhopper. Did a straight up 150-meter hover test, and then successfully landed again.
Yeah. It didn't even look. I might have been the wind or anything. It looked like it went up, maybe left a couple feet.
Yeah, went up, kind of did this little number, and kind of came back down.
Almost, yeah. So,
but anyway, the Starhopper, for those not aware, is potentially our Mars landing vehicle. This is what they are hoping to.
I think there's even like there we go. There's a
little animated GIF of it.
Yeah, a little animated GIF.
GIF.
Yeah, wow. GIF. Remember, we're not supposed to banter at each other, Jeff.
Yeah, apparently I'm being passive aggressive.
Yeah.
Don't analyze, just drink.
This is a good beer.
It's a good beer.
Drink it.
Drink good. No one knows what we're talking about right now. Anyway.
Reverend does.
So, Reverend does. So this will be the lander that we potentially take to Mars for manned missions.
Yes.
And it is a reusable lander. They can land it, they can refuel it, they can take it back off, and rejoin with spacecraft up in orbit.
Yeah. So this will be interesting.
Yep.
Yeah, they just went up 150 meters.
Yep.
And then came back down.
Yep.
So I think they're going to do a couple more tests of just higher and higher.
Yeah, they've done a couple 20 meter and a couple 50 meter. Yeah. So 150 meter was by far the highest one that they've done so far. But exciting news if you're a fan
junkie.
of space travel and
that whole the NASA and
the final frontier, as they say. It's got to start somewhere. You guys are all astronauts in some kind of Star Trek.
Oh, he said it! He said it! What?
Again, no one knows what we're talking about. Sweet. No. Sony is in the news for a couple new cameras and a couple new lenses that they launched. Oh, did we skip something?
You skipped something. Or at least it could be out of order. But
it might be out of order. Just skip to the next one.
All right, that's fine.
We talked about that one already.
Yeah.
So Sony is in the news for a couple new lenses and a couple new cameras. And if I'm gonna be honest, the lens is freaking sweet. The 16-50 f2.8 G Master lens for $1,400. I want that on my camera.
Jeff just geeks out about camera stuff. I mean, as much as he geeks out about tech and everything, he gets so geeky, so hard for camera stuff.
Yep. Jeff, you quoting Zephyr Cochran again? You darn right I am. Man's a national hero. I mean, he's got a high school named after him. He's got a statue, for God's sake.
Pointing to the stars.
As if he's just reaching towards the future. Anyway, the 16 to 50 G Master Sony lens, the f2.8, 16 to 55, excuse me. That lens I absolutely want in my camera kit. That's been an APS-C lens that's been missing out of their entire repertoire of 54 native E-mount lenses at this point. Is an ultra wide zoom lens with image stabilizing with a fast aperture. They have not had that, and
what's the price?
The closest they've gotten is an 18 to 105 f4, which is a G Master lens, but it's among their softer G Master lens. It is a constant aperture, and it does have a couple nice features for video use, but it's not ultimately what a lot of people need in close up, low light situations, especially for videography use. It's a good all around lens, but it does struggle when you get indoors.
Yeah.
So good to see Sony finally coming out with this. They also came out with honestly a lackluster 70 to 350 lens with an f4.5 to 6.3 aperture, and that's just embarrassing. Yes, it's a long lens, but it's APS-C only. But on telephoto or on an APS-C sensor, you're looking 70 is 110.
Don't look at me.
Yeah,
I don't.
105, 110 millimeter minimum distance to something like 500 millimeter. So it's a 100 to 500 essentially.
Okay.
And f4.5, it doesn't cut it by modern standards. It just doesn't. Especially 6.3 at the long end. You know, I would much rather have seen a 70 to 200 f4, but again, they already make that. So I have no idea where this lens is going to fit. And it's $1,000. So $1,000 for a 70 to 350 that no one's ever going to use in actual situations.
Well, they're saying at the end for this one though that the U.S. price is still unconfirmed.
It was 1,400 and 1,000 is what I've heard, based on the euro estimates.
Okay, yeah. They have euro and Australian.
Yeah.
It still says prices in the U.S. is still unconfirmed, but I'm assuming, if you just do the conversion rate.
It's 3 times too much, honestly. I know it's a G Master lens, I know it's OIS, but Sony has a 55 to 200 lens for APS-C for $130. I mean, who is going to buy this lens? The answer is no one. No one is going to buy the 70 to 350. It just doesn't make any sense. Anyway, the cameras that they announced are a little bit... I'm lackluster about the cameras. And it's for 2 main reasons. So they announced the A6100 and the A6600. And again, Sony is just so confusing their camera lines. So they already had the A6000, which kind of started this whole trend, with a non-flippy screen, but kind of a tilty screen. The upgrades to that were the A6300 and the 6500. And those still had just tilty screens. They didn't have flip up. You couldn't vlog with them. You couldn't do that.
Yeah.
And they were solid cameras. They shot 4K, but only 30 frames per second. So. Decent bit rates, but no RAW, no log, no anything like that. And they were really, really good photography cameras. They were fantastic for that. A lot of people use them for video. I know a number of YouTubers who used A63 and A6500 for a number of years. And in fact, the A6000 is still my go-to workhorse for on-the-road video. It's what I use when I'm out and about at shows or for a handheld cam. Either that or the A5100. Anyway, they came out later with the A6400, which did have a flip-up screen, but it blocked the hot shoe, and so it's like, it's made for vloggers, yeah, but I can't put a microphone on it. What the hell, Sony? And it just didn't... it's like, you came out with a better camera, but it doesn't have IBIS, so now I'm limited on my lens choices. And it doesn't have this, and yeah, you gave me this, but you took away this, and it was $900. It's like, okay, you slotted yourself between, even though you're better in some regards, you have better battery life and better video taking ability and whatnot, but you're still
your design sucks.
But you're just not what I want.
Yeah.
So now we have the 6100 and the 6600, which are the same cameras internally. Basically, so they're brand new, 24 megapixel sensors. Which is the same that we've gotten all through the APS-C line since the A6000. It's been a 24.3 megapixel sensor since the beginning of time. They both do have the new flippy screens, but the hot shoe's in the same spot, so you can't put a microphone on it and use your flippy screen.
Really? It says a 3-inch tilting. I don't know if tilting or flipping.
We call it... Kai calls it a flippy screen. I'm going to call it a flippy screen.
Okay. Their description just says tilting.
It's a tilting screen. It doesn't flip out and rotate and do all that.
Flip.
It's not the Canon flippy screen that we all really want. It's the Sony tilty weird thing that's going to break in 6 months. So the A6600 will shoot in S-Log. Won't shoot in RAW, but you do get some log grading, which is great for video shooters. It does have IBIS. It does have in-body stabilization, which is, again, great for video shooters, great for vloggers. The hot shoe's in the same location, so I can't use the flippy screen. It does have a headphone jack now, so if I wanted to monitor audio out of the camera, I can do that. And it has a much bigger battery, double the battery life with a brand new battery.
Well, that's good, though.
And so I'm like, okay, I'm excited about that. Does it shoot 4K 60? No.
No, but I'm not seeing anything about that.
Shoots 4K 30 still. 30, 25, and 24. Then $1,400.
No, not worth it.
Yeah, you're not that much better than the A6500. You have a flippy screen, but you took the hot shoe mic away and you gave us a headphone jack instead. You still don't shoot 4K 60. I don't see this being all that much better. This isn't that much of an upgrade, and this is their flagship APS-C camera.
Well, this is like Intel.
Yeah,
they're just like, hey, we have the exact same product, and we're going to put 10% more into it.
Right. It's I am so lukewarm on this camera. It's better than the A6500 in almost every way, but it's so far short of what the leap should have been.
Well, let's boycott Sony cameras till they bring back Spider-Man.
There you go. I think that's the solution. And then the A6100, they took away the IBIS and the S-Log, and it's half the price. It's $750. And so again, that's the camera to buy.
Yeah, I mean, under $1,000.
Right.
And you have a really nice camera to shoot video with.
Right.
I mean, like, really nice.
Yeah.
You're gonna look super nice.
You could damn near afford that 16 to 55 f2.8 lens, and you're gonna be so much ahead of the game.
Yeah.
Or even the 18 to 105 for $599 or whatever that lens is. I have one, and it's an amazingly good lens. It's not quite what I want. I want that f2.8, and I want a little bit better stabilization. But that 1655 is incredible. But yeah, these price points are confusing. The feature set of the A6600 doesn't justify the price leap over the A6100. And honestly, the specs of the A6600 are not warranted for the $1,400. For $1,400, I can get a Fuji X-T3, which is a way better video camera. That's what I shoot on here. It shoots in S-Log. Oh, and it shoots in 4K 60. And it's the same price.
Yeah. But it's not Sony.
And it's a better photo camera. And it's I'm so confused.
But it's a little bit bigger than Sony.
Yep.
It's a little bit bigger.
Funny thing is, there's people like Jeff in most camera stores, and they whip out the camera to prove it to you on the spot, beer not included.
I mean, if the beer was there at a camera store, that would be fun.
I'd run a camera store like that.
Yeah.
I would totally run a camera store like that. Free beer with
purchase a $1,400 camera.
Yeah, there you go.
Free 6-pack.
That's right. I used to work in a camera store.
You did?
I did for a couple years. It was a lot of fun. Back when digital was just starting to supplant film, and so this was back in the days of the Canon 20D, the Nikon D70 and D200. The D200 was launching at the tail end of my camera store career, but a lot of fun back then. I did sell a couple of Sony FS video cameras there, their interchangeable lens systems that they had there. A couple of Canon XL1s, which was the Canon interchangeable 2/3 3-inch or 3 CCD cameras, which were great cameras, but they were about to be supplanted so hard by digital and non-mini DV cameras. It wasn't even funny. Like, those sold for like $3,800 for a package.
Oh my gosh.
When I started there, the 1DS Mark II had just come out, and it was the first full-frame actual DSLR. It was $8,000 and 16.7 megapixel. And it was friggin' this big.
Oh yeah, that was the big square ones.
Yeah, it was the giant square one. It was right after Canon and Nikon had actually experimented with Kodak with digital backs for Kodak cameras, adapting those. And so this was one of, instead of using the 2/3 size sensor with a 1.3x crop, it was one of the first full frame cameras that you could buy. And it was incredible. And then the 5D came out at the same time, the Canon 5D, and wanted that camera so bad. Anyway, I digress. Oh, the Sony Mavicas? I had a Sony Mavica, actually. I had a Sony Mavica FD. It was the first camera to incorporate the word megapixel. First instance of that word that I could actually find. All right, let's move into some gaming news, and we'll get a couple more beers going.
All right. Do you want to do the pill? Mm-hmm. All right, well, I'll go get us some new glasses since they are a little bit bigger.
Some actual pint glasses.
You know, after getting closer to the end of that beer actually became a bit more enjoyable. It wasn't as disappointing.
I would say not as. I don't know that I would pick that one up again.
No, but it still tasted like these two were reversed.
Yes. Yeah, it tasted like they were trying to do what the other said on the label.
Yeah.
So again, this is Level Brewing here in Portland. Pale to the people, making pale ale cool again. Another 6.2% beer. Boom.
I have a few drops that went over.
Not one drop over. Mm-hmm. Very, very loose pack head on the bubbles.
Yeah, it just
dissipates really
so
quick.
Fast.
This is probably a couple degrees warm to serve this beer, but overall not bad. Not perfectly clear, and in fact, a couple of floaties in mine.
Really, I'm fine with mine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got a little bit of yeast floating around. So there's your camera view up there. Yep. So again, not perfectly clear for a pale. Yeah, pale to the people. I love the label. I friggin' love that label. But anyway, I had this one a couple weeks ago, and all I can say is solid example of a Northwest Pale.
Yeah, I do like at the back of the can, they kind of give these gauges, hoppy, malty, bitter, and sour flavors.
Yes.
I like that. To where, someone that doesn't know anything about beer stating like, oh, I want a sweeter beer.
Yeah.
Well, that top one, hoppy, you want that to be lower.
Yeah,
and,
you want the malt to be a little higher.
Yeah, no, this just tastes like a pale ale.
Yeah, a good solid.
If
someone asks, what's a pale ale? It's this.
It's this, yeah. It says bright citrus and mango hop flavors. I get with a balance with pleasant bitterness.
Yeah, I get mango. I get a little bit of a grapefruit, likely from that hop kind of mixing.
I get like a grapefruit peel, and then mango is what I was, even before I read that, that's what I got.
Yeah. So, but just solid.
Yeah.
I really like this one.
No, Level Brewing makes just solid beer.
Yep. Yeah, there's only ever been a couple of theirs that I've been kind of disappointed with.
Yeah. And
I think one of them I just had a bad can.
Could have. They are a brand new brewery. They're not even a year old, I think.
Yeah.
So.
Beervana 2018's Beer of the Year, by the way.
Ooh.
So they did receive an award. It was under a different name. I don't remember the name that they won the award under, but they did rename the beer when they released it in cans. So, yeah.
It even says under a different
name, right. Just in case we weren't clear.
I wonder if they that name that they put it under was already used or patented
or infringed or something.
Yeah.
On to some gaming news. So we'll say the infamous, the much maligned, the in some circles hated Gearbox CEO Randy Pitchford has been accused of contempt of court in the latest court filing against the CEO. Now, Randy Pitchford is not the most liked person in the gaming industry.
No.
And that's not even a close list. He is far...
Top 2.
Yeah. He is far from the most liked. Probably towards the bottom. Anyway, in a motion filed Tuesday in Dallas, Texas, Wade Callender, Gearbox's former legal counsel, requested sanctions against Gearbox alleging, quote, discovery abuse and failure to produce certain court-ordered documents. So this has been a dispute going on between Callender, who was Gearbox's former chief legal counsel, and Pitchford for quite some time. And there's some allegations in here of, not fulfilling court dates or not producing the documents that were requested by the court or dragging your feet on some things. There's also a couple in here that are a little interesting. And disturbing, we'll say.
What phrase will Jeff use on this?
Yeah, so we'll try to keep this family friendly. We'll use the official court language in here. Quote from the article on GameSpot: when the latest deadline arrived, Gearbox provided their response, which included text correspondence between Pitchford and, quote, a member of the press that he had a podcast with, end quote, in which the two discussed the aforementioned USB drive. The USB drive in question, let me find that.
It's the next article.
Yeah.
That one right there. In response to...
The allegations claim the USB stick was discovered at a Medieval Times restaurant in 2014 in a location a stone's throw away from Gearbox's Plano, Texas headquarters. During this time, Callender and other Gearbox counsel were mediating the Aliens Colonial Marines class action. Another case which Pitchford has been controversial. Supposedly on that USB drive was allegedly containing sensitive material from corporations ranging from 2K Games, Take-Two Interactive, Sega, Sony, and Microsoft, as well as, quote, underage pornography, end quote. So yeah, there's some allegations being tossed Pitchford's way.
Yes,
and it couldn't happen to a better guy.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Yeah. If anyone needed another reason to hate Epic Games, Gearbox, etc., the Tim Sweeney, etc. Tim Sweeney's not well liked, but at least he's not being accused of harboring underage pornography on a USB drive that he left in a Medieval Times.
Oh God, I know. It's like, what were they doing? Like, did they go to one of those Renaissance fair ones and they just start cheering and it just falls out and the guy sweeping finds the USB stick, the janitor?
Right. Well, that's what Medieval Times. Have you ever been to one?
No, I haven't.
They're kind of a chain. They do jousting.
Yes, I mean, I know what they are. I've never been to one.
Yeah, I've been to one. It was years and years ago. Love doing it.
I've always wanted to go.
Yep.
I think there's even one in Washington.
Is there?
I think there's one like 2 hours away from here.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'll have to check that out. Because I want to go back to one. I've wanted to go back to one for some time. But as far as I knew, the closest one was in Anaheim.
Oh, for some reason.
Yeah, I'll have to look at that. Yeah, look it up.
Yeah.
What am I doing this weekend? I don't know. I'm going to go watch a jousting tournament.
Well, it's funny because my anniversary is this weekend. So
nice.
Like,
there you go.
Or next weekend. So I was like, yeah,
nice.
let's see.
How many years you got under you?
This will be 11.
11. Nice.
11.
Just shy of me. I'm at 13. I am an old married man.
Did you get married before me?
I did. I got married in 2006.
I was 8. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be 2 years.
Yeah.
Yep.
I was saying that. Wait, when did I get married?
Yeah. 2006. Yeah, it's been a while that I've been married.
Wow.
Yep. Other gaming news. The original Dark Souls is getting a remaster.
Oh, that's not what I was caring about. I didn't care anything about that one. I cared about the other 2 games that were getting remastered.
No. That is the other 2 games.
Oh, okay.
Because they were probably the hardest games until Dark Souls was released.
Oh, yeah, they are. Yeah. Totally.
I could beat one of them. I never got past a specific level in the second, and you all know the level that I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah. I
all know that level.
I know the level. I know which one you're talking about.
So which game could you beat?
I could beat Aladdin.
I could beat Aladdin.
I could beat Aladdin.
I could never beat Lion King.
Nope, that was like second or third level. Impossible to beat.
The one where I could get past because there's the original Pride Rock opening level where you're climbing into the top.
I could beat that one.
I could beat the Just Can't Wait to Be King, the dancing on
where you're gonna go
monkeys
on
and the giraffes.
elephants. Yeah, giraffes jump over their heads.
Elephants and whatnot.
Yeah.
I made it to Timon and Pumbaa. I can make it through that. I can make it through the bug eating. I can make it through the wildebeest stampede. I could make it through following Rafiki back. I could never make it past the second climb on Pride Rock where everything's on fire and the hyenas are chasing me. Never, ever made it past that. And I don't know what the final level is because I could never bring myself to watch a YouTube video.
There are very few people that have ever even reached the end.
Yeah. But I can single run through Aladdin, not a no death run through, but not a use a continue run through. I've done that, so I do have that feather in my cap. But the Lion King, nope.
And that's like most people though.
Yeah, I think so. Anyway, so Aladdin and the Lion King games are getting a remake for all consoles coming this fall. Nintendo Switch, PS4, and Xbox One. Unannounced / confirmed if it's coming to the PC at all. I doubt it from this announcement because we probably would have seen something.
Even though it says say Xbox One, which is technically PC.
Which means it might be coming to the game for the Windows Game Store.
Yeah. So one of the cool things is that you can switch back and forth from it was a 4K or 1080p. Mm-hmm. I don't remember. I think it's 4K, right?
Original and 1080p.
Yeah, so it's 1080p. So you can switch back and forth between the two. They have an option for the game to take over to show you how it's done. So Jeff can go to that level and say, show me how to do it. It takes over, does it for you, and then puts you right back to where you were. I find that to be cheating because that's half of the point of the game of trying to figure it out yourself.
Right. It was announced that this was coming back, and so I started up my Raspberry Pi console and I fired up Lion King the other day and I made it through Pride Rock, the first one, and I died on Just Can't Wait to Be King.
Oh yeah.
And I went,
screw this.
It's a stupid game.
Jeff, you have a game on your Raspberry Pi that's unlicensed?
I do. And you know what? It was 20 years ago and I don't care.
Where would someone get such a game?
There's a line between piracy and game preservation, and I lean on the latter. So, yeah, I did own Lion King on Sega Genesis, so I will claim that at one point they got their money from me.
You were a Sega? I was a Super Nintendo.
I had both.
Okay,
I had both. I was one of those kids.
I bought a Sega Genesis off of my neighbor. Mm-hmm. I think I paid him like $40, and then he complained to his mom about something not being able to play again, and his parents made me give him the console back.
Oh, that is crap.
Yeah, it was horrible crap. I think even my brother Steve was like, "This is crap. This is stupid because I wanted a Super Nintendo or
tell him to pound
Genesis."
Sand.
So, but he was like our literal next door neighbor, like right in front of us. So it was.
Your kid made a bad choice. Guess what? That's a learning.
Yeah, but at my age, I'm 9 or 12, something like that, and
12 I knew how to tell people to pound sand.
Yeah, well, whatever. Then there's my parents getting involved. Did you trick them into selling it? Because it was cheap.
I guess you could have done that.
Yeah,
knowing you as a young lad.
Well, I think it was more my brother saying, "Yeah, just $40. Here you go." And then he was like, "Yeah, see, we're giving you a good deal."
Right.
So.
Okay, there might have been some coercion in there.
Might have been.
Okay.
Could have been.
So a little bit more of the story's coming to light. But again, knowing you as a young lad, there might have been some coercion involved.
We did like a week later get into like a fist fight and about the whole thing. I do remember beating him bad, like bad. It was like one of the few fights as a little kid I ever actually got in. And then, like where punches were not the shoving matches. Right. That's not a fight. We're like blows were thrown, and I hit him in the face, and I had him in a chokehold.
I got a couple good ones in at one point.
Yeah. So that was like one of
different kid.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, someone said, "Drunken Wondering Boys, how old is Jeff?" I'm not gonna say. I did have a great comment earlier.
We got a special comment.
Yeah, we got a special comment that we look like high schoolers trying to pretend how to review beer.
Yes.
Or how to appear intelligent.
Yeah.
And something, and they said, well, at least they think you still look like high schoolers. and to which I said, I haven't been told I look young enough to be in high school since I was in middle school. Seriously, I've had the beard since I was 16.
Yeah.
I have never looked young for my age.
Jeff comes in as a freshman and just has this beard.
Just Fu Manchu. All right. On to a little bit of entertainment news, and I think we're going to finish up just a little early here, but that's all right.
That's all right, but then that gives you guys a chance to ask questions. So we'll probably finish wrapping up here in the next couple of minutes. So if you do have questions, get them ready. They'll probably be at the end.
That's right. So get your questions ready, so we don't have to wait 6 minutes for you to figure them out.
Yep.
Anyway, Telltale Games.
Oh, yes.
Sorry, let's do the games, and then we'll do the entertainment. Got one more game news.
Oh, yeah, it's at the end.
It should be there.
You have it the wrong order.
You put it in.
I didn't. You put this in the order?
I didn't put Telltale. Steve?
I wasn't me.
I saw this article. I didn't.
I thought you put it in.
I thought you put it in.
No.
I bet Steve put this one in.
I mean, I like that.
Yeah. Anyway, Telltale Games, the old storytelling company, is getting a little bit of a revival.
Hopefully, yeah.
So, new CEO, thank God, and hopefully different management, thank God, because Telltale kind of went under, and they went under quick.
Yeah, which I really liked it. They came out into Power Play with it was
Walking Dead,
and then they redid like Monkey Island. They tried to do some of the LucasArts.
They did Sam and Max. They did a Sam and Max series of games. They also did the Minecraft stories.
Yes. So they did a lot of episodic type stuff, which was, I thought, very interesting and fantastic because it most of those levels cheap, very cheap.
Yeah.
You kind of got this. Okay, I'm gonna go spend $8 every. I think it was like 2 months they released an episode a month,
and get 10 hours of gameplay.
Yeah, and it was great.
Yeah,
and you kind of had that. Okay, I have this game that usually I would pay $60 for and would have only gotten maybe 12 hours of gameplay. But now I have months of fun and anticipation to come. Maybe one version is not as fun as the next, but that's fine,
right?
Because it's episodic,
right? So interesting concept for the studio, and they really did a lot of cool things, but. Basically, their business deals went sour. They were unable to secure financing to finish some projects.
The last games, yeah.
Even the last couple of games they had slated. And they went under in about a week. It was just like, we have money and now we don't.
Yeah, didn't the CEO just like, sorry everyone, don't come in tomorrow?
Yep. It was chains on the doors on Monday morning.
Yeah, I think it was actually one of the earlier on Talking Head episodes we talked about it.
Yeah.
So.
But anyway, so Telltale Games is getting a revival with at least a new CEO, possibly overall new management coming to the table, and I welcome it. I'd like to see some more of their stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, they also did some Tales of the Borderlands games.
Oh,
that was another thing that they did. It was always interesting. It was always different gameplay. It wasn't shooter related. It wasn't anything like that. It was very much story derivative. A lot more animated story than genuine. Excuse me, hiccups are coming.
Yeah.
Than genuine gameplay, but good games in their own right.
Yeah, no, it really had more of a storybook, comic book feel. A lot of it.
Yeah.
Even their animation was slightly different compared to some other games.
Yeah.
They did some really cool lighting, like especially like the Walking Dead ones. They really tried to make that dark comic book. They really tried to match the graphic novels very well. They didn't like, hey, we're separate from the TV show. We are trying to be like the books, right? Which I really liked.
Yep.
And I think I would have loved to have seen a Star Wars style one because they were trying at the time to grab up all the Lucas stuff, and they were even doing the LucasArts before Disney even owned.
Yes.
I think LucasArts and. It would have been awesome to see a Star Wars Rebel lines of some
awesome.
episodic type thing.
Take back Dark Forces.
Yeah,
get some Kyle Katarn storylines going on. That would have been
excellent.
Because that universe is ripe for storytelling like this. So here's hoping they can renew that LucasArts contract.
Yeah, that would be fantastic if Disney went and saw the potential of something like this.
In entertainment news, Netflix made a couple huge announcements. I couldn't be more excited for these.
Oh, really? Well, I mean, I was actually kind of surprised you posted this because this article's been out for a while.
It has. But it finally got a release date.
Yes, the release date was the only thing that was new.
Yeah. So I've known about both of these for a little while, but we finally got a trailer for one and a release date for the other.
Yes.
So up first is The Irishman, is coming out November 27th, and for those who don't know, it's a mob film being directed by Martin Scorsese, starring Robert De Niro, Joe Pesci, Al Pacino, and Harvey Keitel.
Yeah.
Holy crap!
Oh yeah, it brings back Robert De Niro, Joe Pesci, and Al Pacino since Casino.
Yes,
I think it was something like that. The last time, and under
in what 81?
Yeah, under Scorsese too.
Yes.
So, and then I remember this is also Netflix's largest movie to date.
Yes.
Budget wise, it's like
$140 million.
Yeah. So largest. I think they actually even have to release this in a few select theaters just to be Oscar worthy, because the Oscars have been like, we don't know if streaming movies are worthy yet.
Yep. In theaters beginning November 1st and on Netflix on November 27th.
Yeah.
So they're gonna release for 4 weeks in theaters. So if it's in a theater near me, I'm gonna go see it.
Yeah.
I have to.
I think they're doing the bare minimum to meet the whatever the I forget what Oscar nominated the movie,
the Screen Actors
Guild Award. Yeah. To meet that bare minimum requirements, and then Netflix gets exclusive access to it.
Yep. So anyway, if it's in a theater near you, go see it.
Trailer looks cool.
Trailer looks amazing. So link is in the video description. Go check out the trailer. If you're into the mobster movies, oh my god, these are the godfathers. Yeah. No pun intended of the mobster genre. Especially that late 70s, early 80s kind of stuff. By Martin Scorsese. I mean, doesn't get any better than that. No. So, the other one that finally got a release date is El Camino, a Breaking Bad movie. Yes. And I'm excited for this one too.
This will be interesting, and this has been teased.
It's been teased a couple times, but we finally got a trailer. Yeah. And the trailer looks amazing. I mean, we just get
it's just a quick tease.
It's a teaser. It's a what's his name's being interrogated by police. There's 12 police standing around him, and basically he goes, I don't know where he is, and if I did, I wouldn't tell you. Yeah. I'm not going to help you put Jesse Pinkman back in a cage. Yeah. And
trailer.
In trailer, yeah, exactly. So basically, this follows the continuation of Aaron Paul's Jesse Pinkman character, written and directed by Vincent Gilligan. Yeah.
So it should be good. Yes. It's looking good, though. Even the way the trailer is kind of depicting it, dark, gritty. Kind of more at the end of Breaking Bad. How it's very dark lighting,
super
depressed
dark
looking. Yeah. Scarred up, everything like that. It's from that teaser. If it's shot like this will be a very, I'm betting, slow paced but dramatic, intense. Yeah. Movie.
I think it's going to be super intense. I think it's going to be intense, and then it's going to ramp up at some point. Yeah. And remember, this is a movie. It's probably a couple hours long, and so it's not going to be this long, drawn-out cinematic.
I'm betting it's going to be just under 2 hours.
Yeah.
I bet it's going to be like an hour and 50.
But remember, the last we see of Jesse Pinkman is he's hauling away in an El Camino, breaking through a fence and going, ah! Yeah. Just screaming. And the last we see of Jesse and Walt interacting was them escaping from that compound, and then before that was in the hospital room where Jesse's giving Walt the middle finger and saying, I've lost everything because of you. Yeah. And so what happens to Jesse Pinkman?
So it'll be interesting.
The other thing of note, we don't know if Walt is dead.
No, technically, there was a lot of rumors of that. There's even been screenshots of the two actors being together and a lot of different things, and been posted on social media. There's actually even been a couple things on the Better Call Saul end of the TV show, hinting like, oh, there's something coming out with this character that has to do with this movie. So we might even find Saul back in this character. Because if you watch that show, you kind of see where Saul is after Breaking Bad, where he's hiding. He's been working in a donut shop in an outlet mall with a mustache, trying to hide himself, type of thing. You know, these little tidbits of where he is now, and we might get a little glimpse into that life too. Yeah. So
very, very interesting couple of movies coming out from Netflix. El Camino coming out October 11th, and then
The Irishman.
The Irishman.
November.
November 1st in theaters and November 27th on Netflix.
Yeah. Next in 2 months, we'll have some really cool movies to enjoy. Popcorn nights. Yep. Popcorn and beer.
Popcorn and beer. Sounds good. We might have to make that a night. All right. The floor is yours with like 20 minutes to go.
Yeah.
What do you guys want to talk about? And we'll wait.
Yeah. All right.
4 more weeks till the 100th episode. 5 more weeks. 6, 7, 8, 9, 100. That's 5.
Who's
today's episode 95?
Wait, who's on that? That's Steve.
Let's see, it'd be
Steve,
Steve,
me,
you, Rhett, you, Steve.
Steve, yeah, Steve.
Steve gets episode 100.
Yep. Wait, I might be over depending on what beer you drink.
Kind of surprised no comments on Disney Plus coming in 4K and HDR for no extra cost. It's kind of expected at this point for streaming services to start coming in 4K. Oh, and ESPN. I'm really curious to see how long that ESPN deal lasts.
Yeah.
And what you actually get from ESPN, because I've mentioned this before on the show. I was trying to find a place to watch college football because I cut the cord a couple of years ago. And one of my vices is college football during the fall. And I was logging in or getting onto ESPN and just seeing what time game time was. And there was an ad on the side that said, sign up for ESPN Now or ESPN Plus or whatever the bloody hell they're calling the service these days. And it said, and watch your favorite college football games now.
Free 30-day trial.
Right.
Or whatever, yeah.
Right. It was free 30-day trial. And so I signed up for the trial, and I put in my credit card info, and started the trial, and went over. There were 2 Division I games, and they weren't anything you'd ever want to watch. It was like North Texas at SMU, and there was like a Miami at Alabama A&M.
Like, you know, they were just going to dominate. So
right.
Like, what's the point of watching?
It's like, and that's the games that the SEC and Big 12 Network didn't want to cover.
Yeah.
And so they just dumped them onto ESPN Plus. And the other games were all Division II games. And it's like, yeah, Division II is technically college football, but it's not what we consider college football. I'm sorry. Yeah. It's not. And you're certainly not worth $15 a month. And that's the whole reason I cut the cord, was I was tired of paying $130 a month to watch the games that I want to watch.
Yeah.
You know, I don't consume a lot of TV anymore. I watch live sports when I can.
You have this to deal with.
And then I have this to deal with anymore. I don't play games anymore all that much either. This has become my fun time.
Yeah. Well, actually, the one interesting thing is the news. I was going to post this if we had short, but the Disney Plus, they're doing the whole, you can get it for $4 a month.
Yeah.
If you sign up for 3 years, though.
Right.
Which is an interesting concept of, if you prepay for 3 years, it's the equivalent of $4 a month.
Right, which is like a VPN service at this point.
So I thought that was like, okay, that's an interesting tactic, because I don't think any other streaming service has ever offered that.
Right. Yeah, I don't think so either. So I'm going to do a little monitor switcheroo here.
Yeah, that's what I did over.
And then we got that. There we go. All right, let's get into some questions here. Craft Computing, RX 480, 8GB for $130, a good deal. Probably not. I'd like to see that closer to $100. I picked one up for $110 a little while ago. It was the XFX GTS card, 8GB. It was their carbon fiber, weird-looking shroud. I'd say knock $20 off that, and you got a pretty good deal.
See if we can just throw you a 6-pack of beer.
Yeah.
Or a really good beer.
Right, really good beer. Would I recommend a 1650 over a 1660 Ti given a tight budget? No, I would not. I would recommend trying to find an RX 580, even a $180 RX 580 or a $210 RX 590 is a way better performance deal than the GTX 1650 is. It's been pretty well documented that the 1650 can't even beat an RX 570, as I found out in some of my testing, and a lot of you called me out. But anyway, I'd say no, don't go with the 1650 for pretty much any reason. If you're on a tight budget, I'm assuming you're leaning more 150 than the 270 mark, because that's a pretty wide disparity in those two prices. Look somewhere in the middle at the $210 price point. Try to find an RX 590.
Someone's trying to guess your age.
Yeah, I know. They keep going.
And they keep going up.
Yeah, I know. I've been looking.
45. Jeez.
Yeah.
Someone's.
Ow!
I know, right? Someone said you did a video on a R536 from a R526. How about a 37 or a 38?
3700X coming your way. Now, I do not own a 2700X. I will be comparing this, though, to a 9900K. I will probably look at a couple other offerings as well. I do have a 1700. I'll probably include those benchmarks when I do this. But Ryzen 7 3700X build is incoming. So, on an X570 motherboard. The cheapest X570 motherboard on the market.
Oh.
So, come on now, Jeff. 13 years married. 13 years married. Ring's right there.
Wait.
Yeah.
I'm single! Let's do it!
The hell am I doing here? That's right. That's right. Yep. Yeah. I'm not going to give you guys hot or cold. I'm just going to say I've been married 13 years and let you guys guess from there.
Oh, I thought they were talking about like how we like our beer, hot or cold. Like,
yeah.
Oh, yeah, I like it cold.
Hot or cold 31. No, it was way hotter than 31C today. Oh my god. There's a reason I don't have the rear computer on behind me, and it's because it was 100 degrees outside both yesterday and today.
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
I actually got caught in the rain on the way home today with my top down.
How did you get caught in the rain?
It started raining, and not just like a little bit. It just started dumping on me.
And
I'm looking up going, where in the hell is that coming from?
And that's Oregon.
And it wasn't like a farm sprinkler, because I've seen... I just... Here, leave it up. It wasn't like a farm sprinkler that was on, because I've gone through that, and it's like...
Yeah.
This was like a 3-mile stretch where it was just pouring.
Oh my... That is typical Oregon.
Well, no, we don't get rain in the summer. People in the Midwest say, "Oh, it's been 3 months since we last saw rain. This is like a never-ending drought." We call that summer.
Yeah.
We go from late June to early September with no rain. It does not rain in Oregon. I know that sounds weird, but we get our rain through 9 months of the year, and then it just stops.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, it just started dumping. And not little drops either. And so I'm in my 350Z convertible, top down. I'm just kind of cruising. And all of a sudden I feel like, and I went, what the hell? Oh, I went through a sprinkler. And then all of a sudden on my windshield I see, and it like dots up really quick. And I went, oh, it's starting to sprinkle. And it dumps. And I'm like, oh my God. And I haven't been caught in this car in the rain yet. Because I don't drive the car when it rains.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm going through, and all I can feel is a bunch of wind around me. And my head getting wet from here up. Because, again, I'm fairly tall, and so I sit pretty high in the wind draft right there. And it's just hitting my forehead and rolling back.
Oh, so you're getting that slick hair.
And so I got home, and my hair's like literally standing straight up on end. And it wouldn't move. So that was an interesting experience. Jeff, let me buy a 3950X, and I'll send you my 2700X. I say buy the 3950X, bro.
Yeah. It's funny. Everyone's talking about how old you are. The question is, who's older?
Right. That's a great question. That's a great question.
Yeah.
We both played Lion King, so you can't be much older than late 30s. Who says?
Yeah, I mean, I know little kids that have played video games, and my older brother, Steve, played The Lion King.
Right.
And he's the oldest one on the show.
He's the oldest one on the show, and he's, what, 45?
Yeah, well, now you just gave away a clue.
I did. Yeah, Steve is the oldest on the show. Steve is 45.
Yeah.
So, I will say that. Will you do another X79 build considering your Twitter post earlier? I'm not going to do any 2670 builds. I do have a Chinese X99 build coming up with a 12-core CPU and NVMe drive. So stay tuned. You guys make me feel old. Sorry, bro. Age is just a number, my brother. Exactly.
Yep.
And I get a little older every day. Can any of you beat me at 53? Nope, we can't beat you at 53. Nope. Yep, and you can wonder all you want. It's going to be a mystery. So
I think we revealed it like a long time
I never revealed mine. I think we've talked about yours, but we've never revealed mine.
Yeah.
So, Craft Meeting, it's been raining in southern Wisconsin on and off for weeks. I've been in Wisconsin in August, and I don't take offense to this, but it was awful. Wisconsin in August sucked. It's some of the worst weather I've ever experienced in my life.
I've never been. So.
Yeah. But between the bugs and...
Oh, was that when you were texting me all the cocktails?
Yes.
Oh. Yeah.
And your beer and cocktail selection was atrocious.
Yes. Yes, from what Jeff sent me, it was bad.
Yeah. Yeah, we would go to beer-centric bars. Like, we have 30 taps, and I'd go in and, finally I can get some beer. Bud Light, Coors Light, Michelob.
Yeah, we have 29 domestics and 4 what we call craft.
Which was Sam Adams, Widmer Half.
Yeah. Deschutes Black Butte.
Right. Yeah.
Something like that. And then
we finally found a Deschutes Black Butte, and I went, finally, thank God I can get a craft beer. It was bad, and your cocktails were even worse.
There was news I was going to post.
There was the Wisconsin Old Fashioned, which was a morning Old Fashioned made with maple syrup.
Oh, that's interesting.
But it was like a morning one, so it was like made with
breakfast.
Yeah, so it was like breakfast inspired, and it was made with seltzer and a couple other things. It was awful. It was awful.
So I think there was a couple things.
And your cheese, I know you guys are really high on your cheese. You realize we have dairies around here too, and Tillamook cheese is one of the largest cheese manufacturers in the U.S.
And
they're phenomenal.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, not impressed.
Yeah.
Not impressed.
I was gonna say that one of the articles I was gonna post in the beer news because we were pretty short.
I live in Alabama's A&M in Alabama A&M's town. Their team is nowhere near being considered SEC level, and I understand that they're Division II. They're not even close. Actually, I think they just moved up to Division I, if I remember correctly. They joined AAC, I want to say. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm probably wrong, but I was referencing them because I think Miami was playing. So the ACC, Miami was playing Alabama A&M, and like I said, no one wanted to pick up the game, so they just threw it on ESPN+. Do we all make our way to Canada often? I have been so close to Canada, and I have been so close to Mexico, but I have never crossed the border. I've been within visual distance of both.
Mexico, I almost got trapped in Mexico a few times. And
That's
then,
right.
Canada, I've always wanted to go, never been.
Apparently they check for crabs on your way back over.
Yeah, that's how I got caught. But no, I was going to say, the owners of 10 Barrel and the former CEO of Anheuser-Busch created a brand new cocktail company.
Ooh, we got a question.
Oh, we actually have a question.
What would you all consider to be essential bottles to keep in the cabinet? So
liquor. I was like,
cabinet.
Beer or...
I'm going to show you. I'm going to walk around the corner real quick.
Okay.
Because I have my liquor cabinet here, and I have a bar just on the other side of this in the kitchen. So give me 10 seconds.
Apparently, I'm all by myself here. So now's the time to tell you, help me, please. Get me out of here. I've been trapped here. And we're back.
What are you doing now?
Nothing.
I have this. This is what I would consider what you should keep in your liquor cabinet. If you need to stock something, these are the 10 bottles you should have. Okay? This bottle's odd and not actually what I would consider.
Wait, is this? I know what this is. Oh, I know what that bottle is.
Right.
That's just simple syrup.
No, that's actually vodka.
Oh, okay, but I know what that bottle is.
Right, yeah. No, it's the Roses.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is what I would consider my essential liquor cabinet. And I can make almost any drink in here. I keep in the bottom of this a bottle of brandy. Swap this out for tequila. Usually Jose Silver, because Jose Silver is one of the most generic tequilas. You can get it for about $15 to $20, and it's a pretty solid tequila. I don't like tequila, so I don't typically keep it stocked. And I like brandy better. But we've got our bottle of vodka down here. This is just Smirnoff 100. This is their triple distilled 100. It's about $20. And it's a solid vodka.
And if you can find a cheaper vodka that you personally like, go with that.
Vodka's a matter of preference.
Yeah.
I actually really like what's called, it's Oregon Springs vodka.
Yeah,
And it's $12 for a handle.
Yeah.
And it's actually really solid for a mixer.
Yeah, so.
We'll move on to our gin. This is Gordon's London Dry.
Gordon.
$10 for a fifth, or $17 for a handle.
Yep.
And gets you a good gin. I have my 2 vermouths. These are the Gallo, extra dry, and your Gallo sweet vermouth.
That what, $9 a bottle?
7.
Something like that.
7 or 8.
So not even double digits.
Over here we've got our rums. I have Bacardi White, Bacardi Superior. This is the best tasting, non-artificial tasting white rum that I'm aware of, and this is pretty cheap. It's about $12 for a fifth. And I buy it in the handles. It's about $18 for a handle. Or maybe 22 or 23. But pretty inexpensive. I do keep a bottle of Malibu Black on my shelf, which is your coconut rum. But this is a 70 proof coconut instead of your standard Malibu.
Yeah.
So if something calls for coconut rum, and there's a lot of tiki drinks that call for Malibu, this gives you a little bit of extra punch. It's not...
And you can do half the amount, too.
It's $1 or $2 more expensive, but you can use half the amount if you don't want it to be quite as boozy.
Yeah, and you get lasts you twice as long.
Right. For a spiced rum, I do Sailor Jerry. Again, right in the $20 price point for a handle, $20 to $25.
Yeah, I think it's about like $13 a bottle, something like that.
Yeah, $13 for a fifth, and between $25 and $30 for a handle. And a pretty solid spiced rum. HRD, schnapps, peach schnapps.
Sweet, sugary.
Yep, sweet, sugary, fuzzy nabels, and a lot of other, kind of drinks like that. The whiskey, I've talked about this before, Seagram 7.
No.
Just a solid American whiskey. You can use it pretty much.
$12 for a handle?
It's 15 for the handle. $10 for a fifth, 15 for a handle.
Yeah.
But this entire bottle bar right here is about $120, maybe all told.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit more than that. But you can make almost any drink.
Your standard drink.
Your standard drinks. You're not going to get your chartreuse. You're not going to get your orange liqueurs.
If you want your this will get you all of your well drinks, maybe plus some.
Yes. So as far as an essential bar starter kit, I love this. And like I said, I just keep this little rack out in the kitchen with all my mixing tools and everything else. If I want to make a more elaborate drink or a drink with a better liqueur, I'll grab a bottle from in here. But the nice bottles stay in here. And then when someone comes over to the house, this is what I mix with.
Yeah.
And honestly, this is 90% of the time what I mix with.
$150. This will get you started.
Yep.
With accessories too, right there. Basic accessories, your measuring tools and whatnot. And then off of that, you're just spending, 10, 12, whenever you're done with that one drink that you find that you like, probably a month. So you'll probably be fine there. So as a great Christmas gift, Father's Day, Mother's Day, birthday gift, $150. That's a great deal. Maybe not buy that graphics card right away.
Yep.
Buy some liquor.
Someone said we need to send you some rums. Try me.
He's got some Jamaican rums and
Puerto Rican.
Yeah.
They call it Havana Club rum, but it's a Puerto Rican rum. Okay. This is a Hawaiian rum. This is Kula.
Hawaiian.
And I've got a spice spice.
But you know what? You can always send me rum.
Right. You can. Yeah. Send John your rum.
Yeah. I'll review it.
Trust me, I have way better bottles than that. But as far as my standard house well drinks, That's what I have. That's what I
Yeah,
serve.
no, I mean, why constantly drink top shelf stuff all the time?
Gordon's throw that away. No, because it makes great cocktails. It's not a great sipper. I wouldn't pour myself a rocks glass over ice with it.
Gin and tonic, it's fine.
But a gin and tonic, it's great. Gordon's cup, it's great. Yeah. Gimlets is great. Mule. Moscow Mule is great.
Yeah.
Or Gin Mule.
Sorry, But yeah, as long as you've added a little sweetness to a Gordon's, it really helps balance out that over juniper flavor that Gordon's really has.
Right.
But that's the thing. I would rather have a little bit over because I can. It does taste more like a mixing gin.
Yeah.
Which is totally fine.
Anyway, all of those bottles I buy in handles. I buy them in the 175 mil instead of 750, and I refill the 5th bottles in here. So inside of my closet right here is all of the handles of that liquor.
Good to know. That's where I'll break into.
Right. Well, it's still cheap. That's the cabinet you need to break into.
Well, I'll break it, but I'll get the most bang for my buck.
I have one bottle in there that's worth every single handle in there. But yeah, that's what I would start with. And like I said, you can grow your collection from there. You can go, you know what, I want to start expanding my whiskey or my rye, or I want a better rum, or I want a better gin.
Yeah, and everyone's saying in the comments, I start with this, I start with that. That is a base starting point.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It is the base. Jeff entertains people, too. It's not just for him.
Yeah.
That's the thing. You have to remember it's wife, people that come over, family.
I don't want to spend $80 in mixed drinks every time John and his wife and a couple other people come over and we want to just have an evening and have a couple of cocktails each. All of a sudden, that's 12 to 18 cocktails
especially
that I got to make.
If you're doing like a $25 bottle of whiskey or something like that. Yeah, you don't want that.
Or a $50 bottle of whiskey.
Yeah.
You know, so... And I do a lot of cocktails. I really enjoy the craft of making cocktails. It's one of my favorite things. And I've said this on the channel too. I prefer cocktails to beer. I think beer is more relatable. And I can talk about beer a little more often because, you know, I can buy a wider variety of it.
Yeah, oh yeah.
You know, $3 gets me one of these, whereas, if I want to try a new whiskey, all of a sudden I've got to spend $40 or $50 or $60.
And you might not like it.
And I might not like that whiskey. And then there's only so many old fashions and Manhattans and things like that and standard drinks that I can make on the show. And so that's why you don't see a lot of cocktails on here.
Yeah.
So for a starter, I would say a good bottle of a standard American whiskey. Don't go with a super strong bourbon or rye or scotch or anything like that. Get yourself an American whiskey because it is the most blendable.
Yeah.
So I go with Seagram 7, which is a good oak-aged American whiskey.
No, it works. Yeah, it probably is the cheapest, best all around.
Go with a standard rum. I prefer a dry rum because again, it's a little bit more mixable, and you can add sweetness to it. You can't take sweetness away.
Yeah.
And so don't go with a sweet rum. Go with more of a dry rum, either a Gordon's London Dry or a Bombay Sapphire. That's usually my two go-tos.
Yeah.
Get yourself a good mix of rums if you like tiki drinks. So get yourself a spiced rum, a dark rum, and a white rum.
Yeah.
And if you want to add one more to that, either add a coconut or a black rum. So get yourself something like a Captain Morgan's Black, a Cannonball, or something like that.
Yeah, that's a bit expensive. But yeah, even then, I like... actually, it was funny because you did the Malibu coconut rum. And I've tried the Malibu, but I've never tried that. The
Malibu Black.
The Malibu Black.
Yeah.
But I was about to say, it is an Imperial.
It's a higher proof.
Yeah, I was thinking beer. But the regular versions, I actually prefer the Monarch. Actually, coconut rum, which is about like $2-3 cheaper.
Yeah.
And I think the Malibu has more of an artificial flavor coconut, where the Monarch, I actually like that coconut flavor.
Yeah, the standard Malibu, I totally agree with you. There's also the Malibu Red, which is actually sweetened with stevia. And I can't just... It's just horrible.
Yeah.
The Malibu Black is actually an aged... It's more of that molasses, natural sugar flavor. And it's 70 proof instead of 40.
I might just have to try it. Because I actually do like going home and having a bit of a coconut cocktails at home.
Totally good.
Because, I can only have so much beer as well.
Kraken, I have a bottle of Kraken down there, too. That's my standard black rum that I keep around.
So...
bottle of tequila, if you like tequila. Like I said, Jose Silver is a good mid-level starter. About $15 to $18 for a fifth, a little bit more for a handle. With your vodka, you can actually go pretty inexpensive for a vodka. Like I said, for a good mid-range, tasteless, non-offensive vodka. I like the Smirnoff 100, which is a triple distilled 100 proof vodka.
Yeah, it's what, 50%?
It's 50%.
50%, so you can even add it a little less, so it goes a little bit longer.
Exactly.
But again, too, there are places that have local distilleries, and you might want to pay that extra $1. Again, this is just the base. This is just what Jeff is saying. Hey, this is what I use to entertain. Take that with that grain of salt. So don't blast us in the comments.
And like I said, I keep a couple vermouths on hand. Usually they're the Gallows. They're the inexpensive sweet and your extra dry vermouth. I also like the Martini and Rossi vermouth, which I do have a bottle of that in my cabinet.
That's what I have.
Yeah, it's a couple of dollars more. I don't drink vermouth all that much, but
you pay that a little extra because you're like, okay, the amount of times that I do it, I want something good. I don't want the cheap one.
Right.
So, and that's the thing too, is once you've learned what you like, you know what you'll pay for.
Right. And you also learned what you need to dial back in.
Yeah.
I started my liquor collection by buying $50 bottles. And once I found out what a good liquor tasted like, where this is a good bourbon and this is a good rye and this is a good scotch and this is a good rum, and, what should this taste like? And I go, ooh, and I like those flavors. I then started dialing back, so maybe I went to the $35 bottle.
Do I still get that?
Is there any loss? Do I like this better?
Yeah.
What are the flavor notes that I take out? And I dialed that all the way back down until I got to the $10 bottles, and I went, ooh, that is harsh as crap.
That's just pure burn.
Right. That's isopropyl with a little bit of food coloring. And then I dialed it up from there, and so I went to the 12 and the 14 and the $15 bottle, and then I went, you know what? This has like 80% of the flavor and none of the offense of the $50 bottle.
Yeah.
I like that for my house liquor.
Oh yeah.
And so this is years and years of research. And again, these are my tastes. Your tastes might be completely different, but these are the liquors that I've settled on.
And depending on where you live, there's a lot of distillers that have really cool options of going there and tasting them, similar to craft breweries.
Yep.
So, actually, even a craft brewery here in Oregon, Rogue, they make their own spirits.
Yes.
They're fantastic. They're a little overpriced.
I would agree.
But it is a cool experience, and I really do love Oregon in the sense of the craft, even liquor scene is really fun. There's a lot of great places in Oregon where you can go get a flight of their craft liquor. So, Rogue.
Rogue Stouted Thunder, or Stouted Whiskey. This is their Rolling Thunder Imperial Stout. They basically did a dual aging.
So they had a Rolling Thunder aged that beer in the whiskey barrel.
Right.
Then they took that barrel and aged a whiskey after the beer.
After the beer was done.
So it has a kind of a chocolatey flavor.
And so whiskey finished in Rolling Thunder Imperial Stout barrels, which were aged in Rogue whiskey barrels.
Yeah.
And this is a cask strength version of that.
Ooh.
So it's a 57.9%. 115.8 proof.
Yeah.
Bottle 125 of 191 from barrel 4 out of 11.
Ooh, so not a whole lot.
No.
Not a whole lot. So.
No, this bottle was quite expensive.
Yeah.
But quite delicious.
Yeah. Actually, if you are looking for kind of that beer and cocktail, Jameson makes a pretty good one.
Caskmates. Yes.
Their stout, they make a stout and an IPA, which I think the stout is fantastic. Fantastic. Yeah. And it's even a great straight and cocktail mixer. It's a little expensive, about $22 a bottle, something like that.
Yep. All right. Craft computing. How do you like McMiniman's House Spirits in Edgefield? I've had some of their house spirits. I don't get to McMiniman's too often. There's one down in Salem. There's another in Oregon City. Yeah. There's a couple around us.
There's a couple around. Edgefield in particular, it really actually, for my particular taste, I've noticed it comes down to the bartender you get at any McMiniman's, even Edgefield. Yeah. It really comes down to the bartender you get. They try to train their bartenders very well.
Yes.
You can see that they try to. Doesn't necessarily always work.
Yeah, it doesn't necessarily 100% translate. And especially when you get into even McMiniman's at this point, I don't want to call them a chain because I don't want to be offensive. They're not an Applebee's. They're not a Chili's. No. They're not a this. But when you try to standardize your cocktails across 30 different restaurants.
Yeah, I think there's like 24 of them.
Yeah,
so.
and I've been to 7 or 8 of them. I've been to a decent number of McMenamins. You do get some stuff lost in translation. You do get some stuff that's basically diluted, or we do it this way at this place and this way at another place. Yeah. And so, honestly, the cocktail bars that I like going to are the one-offs. Are the bartender who works that every night, that particular bar every night, and they're his drinks or her drinks. Yeah. And it's a labor of love. And those are the cocktails that I really enjoy. McMenamins has some great spirits. They have some great cocktails there. But I tend to be a little bit hit or miss when I order one. Yeah.
No, actually, we have kind of thinking of the whole chain thing. We went to, when was it, CES in Seattle? Mm-hmm. We went to Starbucks. Starbucks had a phenomenal cocktail recipe, actually.
One of the best bars I've been to.
Well, yeah, and it was so funny because all of us, Rhett, Steve, Jeff, and myself, we just sat there and ordered. I think it was every cocktail. I think we ordered.
They offered 12 cocktails, and they can serve a max of 3. So we all had three, and we all had turns just drinking from their cocktails. One of the most phenomenal experiences I've ever had at a bar.
Yeah, and it was, the best part was it was the same bartender mixed all of our drinks.
Yes.
So it was just like...
And she was good.
Yeah, she was really good. You could see the care. She's like, all right, this is going to be, 4 minutes for this drink.
She also made me one off the record.
Yeah.
And she goes, I want to make you my version.
Yeah. That was the thing. And and she's like, I'm not telling you.
I'm not telling you what's in it. And she made me...
I think you got like 75% of the
I did. There were a couple of things that I couldn't get right, and basically she gave me her version of an old fashioned, and I'm a sucker for an old fashioned, and I sat there and I'm drinking it, and I'm like, it almost tastes like
Pax. Yes,
right.
Pax.
I'm like, it almost tastes like tequila, but you wouldn't do that to me, and then I'm drinking it a little bit more, and I'm like, it tastes like mezcal. But you wouldn't do that to me. And she goes, I wouldn't do that to you. I said, I know, but that's what I'm getting. And it's so frustrating because it's so good. But the ingredients that I'm like, the flavors that are coming up in my mind are not what I think of an old fashioned, but at the same time, they're working so well in an old fashioned. What it was whiskey that's been poured through cold brew coffee.
Yeah, it was so interesting.
And made into an old fashioned. And oh my God, it was delicious.
Yeah, so imagine taking your whiskey and then pouring it through coffee grains, cold brewing it.
Yes.
And it was just giving that extra roasty, chocolately flavor.
Basically, if you guys are a fan of Peter McKinnon, if you watched his coffee brewing with the
weird.
Yeah. Doing the filtering the beans and the hot water and things like that. Basically, she did that with the whiskey and then turned that into an old fashioned. Yeah. And cold brewed the coffee with whiskey. And oh my God, it was one of the best things I've ever had in my life.
Yeah, it was fantastic. I remember Jeff complaining like, we need to go back there again, guys. I don't care what we do.
Name again of the establishment? It was Starbucks. It was the Starbucks Roastery.
Yeah.
In downtown Seattle.
It was the main Starbucks.
Yeah.
The big touristy one.
Yeah, it was the big touristy Starbucks with the giant roasters in the background. They have a bar set up front where they make cocktails with Starbucks coffee. And oh my God, it was amazing. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, Penny's Gin. I've had the Penny's Gin over at McMenamins.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty fantastic.
You know, they have like a pear brandy that's pretty good too.
Yeah.
Again, though, most of their stuff, I think brandy was one of their big things, but the gins and the whiskeys that they come out are a bit expensive. Yeah. And they just don't quite hit the mark because I don't think they've aged it quite enough. Right.
And that's my complaint of Rogue. As good as this one is, it's been aged for a year in the stout barrels, and it's a barrel strength whiskey. This could use another year sitting in something to mellow out.
Maybe
it really
2-3 years.
Right. Because it's hot. I mean, smell that.
It smells like tobacco. And burning tobacco.
Yeah. Now you can smell, it is a bourbon. You can smell the sweet corn and those really good esters and a little bit of clove and a little bit of cinnamon and a little bit of apple if you really dig.
Yeah, like
caramel.
Like it smells like a sweet tobacco but burning.
Right, but at the same time there's a harshness to it, and it's not like like a high ABV burn. It's a young burn, and you can't fool age. You cannot fool age in a whiskey. But smell it again. Dig down. You'll find the apple. You'll find caramel apple in there really quick.
Yeah.
But it has this to it.
Yes. Okay. I get apple, brown sugar.
Yeah.
And then
like I said, molasses, brown sugar,
caramel. Brown sugar, caramel.
Yeah.
But then there is this young kind of burniness.
Yeah.
It's just interesting.
That's just slightly unpleasant.
Yeah. It's just like there's good aromas in there, but then if I drink that, I know it's not going to be as smooth as I think it's going to be.
And it's not. It's really, really good, and it's worth buying that bottle. That bottle is like $95.
Jeez.
But yeah, it could have used another 6 months to a year inside of a barrel, just mellowing out.
It would be interesting if someone sold. So they have those mini barrels that they come out with. What if they started selling bottles but liquor in that? Whiskey's in an actual barrel that you can open and just pour out of a barrel.
That'd be interesting.
And then that way you could let it sit on your shelf and age.
I don't think there's any whiskey that's done it, but they do sell staves that you can put into whiskey to mellow them out.
Yes.
You can buy charred staves.
But I'm talking an actual, instead of this, the bottle. Did I give you one?
It's right there.
Yeah. So imagine they sell you this. Like that. Mm-hmm. That's the bottle.
I can get behind.
That's your bottle, and then you just
Yeah.
But then you can let it sit for a year or two.
And I've been thinking of what I want to age in this.
Yeah.
Because John,
that's not charred, but yeah.
Right, it's not charred. I think I might try.
Go ahead, try. I gave it to you. I was like, Jeff will appreciate this.
But you can fill this. It's actually a container. So. I thought about trying to age something in here. I know it's not charred, but the oak in here will still take out some of that.
Yeah,
some of that flavor. So.
But yeah, now how cool would that be as a whiskey? Even if it was harsh, and you're like, okay, that's fine.
Right.
Let it age. Let it sit for 2 years.
Right.
Be curious. And now it'd probably be pretty expensive.
Yes.
Because any mass producing a barrel or a bottle like this would probably be expensive. But then at the same time, it's just,
yep. There you go.
So.
All right. And I think that's about as good a place as any to end it. That was a very long answer to what is a simple question, but really a passion of mine especially. And I know John likes to tag along with the cocktail talk.
It's free liquor.
That's right. He likes it when I go and experiment because it's like, ooh, $70. All right.
That's fine with me.
All right. Anyway, this has been episode 95 of Talking Heads. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Every Wednesday here at 8 p.m. Pacific time for the latest in beer and tech news. Make sure to like this video, subscribe to Craft Computing if you haven't done so already. Follow the link in the video description, and for God's sake, subscribe to John so we can actually get him boosted up a little bit. He's still at 425, and there's no excuse for that. Get this man above 600 and make it happen by the time next week rolls around. Seriously.
Or at least the next time I show up.
Go click the link down below and subscribe to Hops and Brews. You will not be sorry.
Yeah.
I'm on there sometimes.
Yeah, and we're shooting some more right now after this.
Like in 10 minutes, we're going to film another video. So, anyway, that's all we got for tonight. Thank you guys so much for joining us. And as always, we'll see you in the next one.
See you guys.
Cheers all.